The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football? Yeah!
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and WCSL Cherryville Gastonia.
chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
And we are live today with Shock Joxx. It is Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, there's been basketball going on. Actually, basketball going on currently, but unfortunately, unlike Monday, we are unable to watch it because this is one of the days they decided to put it on a paywall NBA TV. If you have it, you get to watch it. If you don't have it, sorry, you just got to keep up with it on your phone. You got to keep up with it on your computer. You don't even get to see it. You just got to wait for highlights. Hunter Yancey here along with Kevin Hastings and Zac Mayhue here for your Wednesday episode of Shock Joxx. We want to thank everybody that tunes in and watches this as well. Also want to say a big thank you for everybody that shares the stream. Today we are on YouTube. So go ahead and share it out amongst your friends. That's the only way people are going to find out about us because, you know, these algorithms, Kevin, these algorithms, they just don't like us. And it really doesn't make any sense because I don't remember the last time I tried and pissed off an algorithm. You know, I didn't do anything to it. It's not my fault.
I don't even know how to comment to that.
I don't understand.
Check. Doing our mic checks here. You guys hear me all right?
Oh, yeah, we're here.
Yeah. Like and share, folks. Hit the notification bell. They're at the bottom. Likes and shares are the number one way to get us out there. You know, Hunter, the big corporations and these big guys, they
get it basically for free almost.
They pay for their followers and advertisers, a lot of them.
Oh,
and so little extra self promotion. So if anybody wants to, we need to get a PayPal account or something. Hunter, see if anybody wants to donate to us.
Ooh, that'd be really nice.
But I want to welcome everybody to the broadcast. Good afternoon, everybody. Kevin Hastings, Hunter Yancey, Zac Mayhue in the house. We've got all kinds of things to talk about, like Hunter was mentioning there just a moment ago about NBA playoffs. We're going to talk about all the game ones, predictions for the rest of the series, talk about the schedules for today and tomorrow. We've got Major League Baseball to get into, standings, stats and more, NFL, NCAA football. We've got some news coming across there. The players are trying to force their way into playing. We've got NASCAR news this weekend had the road course in Daytona. We talked a little bit about it Monday. Jimmy Johnson revealed a new paint scheme today for Darlington. It's pretty interesting, you guys. I'll show you in a little bit. Let's see. Zac, man convicted in the death of Michael Jordan's dad, granted parole.
Yeah, I've seen that today.
To me, it's kind of a weird. What kind of system do you have if you're part of a murder and you get out of jail. I mean, that his dad don't get out of anything.
No.
So there's that. Gordon Hayward out 4 weeks with an ankle sprain. Does that mean the end of the Celtics?
Oh, that was something I was going to touch on whenever we got to it. So keep going.
Hornets news.
Not even good news.
Well, this one's not the one you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Okay. Never mind.
Training bubbles okayed for non-NBA bubble team.
Oh, so they can actually practice.
They can practice.
All right.
They can practice.
Not the other thing that's making national news.
No.
Somebody is an idiot.
We had just gotten an email from him. We'll get in that in just a second. North Carolina preps to talk about. We've got Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, a little bit of everything. Andre had a soccer hat on yesterday. That was, he had an Atlanta FC hat on. He didn't know what it was. He just
that's okay. They've won an MLS Cup within the last 3 years, so that's okay.
Well, the Raptors went on a 6-0 run. They've cut the lead 26-22 in the first quarter. Let's start there. We'll start with our local team, the Hornets, Hunter. So they'll get to restart in the training bubble. The lottery is tomorrow night. I didn't know if y'all knew that.
No, I did not know
the NBA lottery is tomorrow night.
I figured they would move it because the season obviously been flip-flopped and put on top of its head.
They always do the lottery in the first round sometime, usually so.
My question is, though, with the Hornets and this practice, is it basically going to be a practice bubble where they practice against each other?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, because if it's just, you guys can go to your own arena and practice now, I'm like, buddy, we've been doing that for months.
That's pretty
about
much
a month
it.
ago.
I mean,
that's just weird. Is it like going to be in a centralized location?
No. You're on. You got it right the first time.
So that's all it is they just can go and practice.
Yeah.
It's not even, the other teams that were invited can come in and scrimmage us.
No.
Then, okay. Then this bullshit.
They're getting to practice.
Imagine you getting to
Hornets
practice.
need practice time.
Oh, my word. Well, they need a whole lot more than just practice.
Let's see.
Allen Iverson would be appalled right now. Practice?
They've been approved
We're talking about practice.
to have voluntary group workouts at their facilities beginning in mid-September.
Oh, so they can't even start now.
No.
It's just,
The
we'll give you
agreement
about
calls
a
for
month.
players to work out while residing in a campus-like environment and includes comprehensive health and safety protocols for all players.
I'm about sick and tired of this already.
Yeah, me and Zach just having a conversation down the hall about a lot of this. Some people have loved ones in the nursing homes, and then they won't even allow you to see them.
Mm-hmm.
So, that can't be mentally good for anybody. And
No.
And what the folks in the homes, out of the homes, family, and everybody, it's not good, Zach. And then when you go to the hospital, you're by yourself too. Like some of these older folks, they need help. They need someone there with them and to help make decisions, and kind of putting them on their own is, I don't know. I'm not a fan of how some of this is.
I also kind of found it hilarious how the colleges were just like, oh shit, we weren't expecting this day one. Really?
Then
Really?
expecting the little ones, because we just had it happen in there. You walked in there and tried to shake Judah's hand or fist bump him, and he says, "No, I can't touch you. It's coronavirus."
Oh my god.
7.
Hunter, I went in there. I said, Judah, fist bump, buddy. What's up? He goes, I can't. I said, why? Corona.
Mommy said not to touch anybody.
Somebody's been listening to the mama too much.
Oh man.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't want to give me a fist bump. Well, we talked high school sports the other day about North Carolina as one of the last 4 states to make a decision, Zach, and they finally have come back and made decisions on what they're going to do. If it'll let you give you an idea, they say this is a political, but here's a stat for you: 25 out of 26 Republican governors are sending the kids back to school and to play sports. 15 of 24 Democratic governors are not sending them back. So it's right down party lines, and anytime anybody's asked me what I expect, and as far as North Carolina goes, my answer, Zach, has always been, you got a Democratic governor.
Yeah.
He kicked out the Republican convention. He won't allow us to watch our sports, go to NASCAR races. Do you think he's about to he's going to do whatever's best for him, his political party, and the anti-Trump agenda. And so when you look at it that way, it sometimes makes you sick, Hunter. You don't even want to talk about it because some of this is political.
Well, it's not just that, but it's like we can talk about it, but no matter what we say, we know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I give this because they've already shut down Lincoln County schools already. They sent them home.
School,
just
Iron
one.
Station.
Well, it does. Okay, I was going to say that's right. Iron
But it
Station.
won't be long.
But it won't be long.
Right.
It won't be long. And
Well,
it was.
Zach,
And what
did
was
they
it?
tell
It
you
was a
before you
day.
went-
It was a
Right.
day.
Did they tell you the same thing with sports? Did they tell you? Have anybody announced on TV or anywhere that if one kid gets it, we're shutting the whole school down? And so, or if two kids, nobody's ever said the number. And here we are again going back to school. And again, hate to be political with it. It just seems to me, Hunter, that North Carolina waited because of a couple things, and Tom poo-pooed it, but Zach, these schools get funding based on how many kids they have. If you say we're not going to have sports on August 1st, how many thousands of kids, or hundreds, maybe not even 1,000, are going to move to Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Georgia to play sports? And so if you keep pushing it back, we're going to wait 2 weeks. We're going to wait 2 weeks. Well, now it's almost September, and then you're going to say, now we're going to play in the spring.
But see, that's what I was getting
those
at
kids-
with. So I think Iron Station is just going to be the first domino in this.
Right,
There will be
exactly.
more that follow, and eventually it'll get to the point where they said, well, you had to be in seat to play sports. If we don't have anybody in seat, guess what? No sports. They're just going to cancel high school athletics.
I think they're building up to. They're going to do part of that. I think they want to play in the spring, but I think the way they did it now is to keep their federal funding. That's my theory. That's my idea. You can say
And it's
yes or
predicated
no.
on two things.
It's predicated on the governor already
who-
saying you can't watch a NASCAR race.
Who's going to get in North Carolina governor in November, and who's going to be the president in November is going to be what predicates it.
That's
Because
what's-
if Biden gets in, it's going to disappear. It's going to be the greatest thing ever.
The reason, Hunter, that we go to sports is to get away from this stuff. Is to not deal with this stuff. Is to do something else.
Right.
Like you don't watch Days of Our Lives and they start kneeling at the national anthem or making political statements. I would imagine. I don't know. I don't watch it like that. But with the kids, you thinking they're going to South Carolina, that they might go to Georgia. I don't know what they're going to do in the first session, this first semester or first section of the school year. Zach ends November 4th.
But see, and then I'm looking at it this way
exact
though.
time.
I'm not even going to try and make it political. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at it this way. How I don't understand, because I said this about the MLB when they first started canceling games, and I'm saying it now about the schools and especially the colleges at the same time. What the hell did you expect was going to happen when you started letting these kids back on campus?
Oh yeah.
Like, what is the goal? You should have figured maybe one or two of them were going to have it. Oh, we had a couple hundred people that have it. Well, how many of them are, like we like to say, how many of them are deathly sick and are going to go on ventilators?
Right.
How many of them can't just sit in their dormitory, maybe self-quarantine, do their online classes anyways, and then go back to class in 2 weeks?
Right.
Like, just self-quarantine. Because what people don't realize now is a lot of these schools that saw what happened to the University of North Carolina their first few days on campus, 130 plus people, and they're all like, oh crap, we thought we were going to be on campus. Well, now we're back to doing nothing but online. Think about how mad these students and these parents should
if you
be.
moved in.
If you moved in, the parents that helped you move in that weekend, whether it is to a dormitory or thinking about it, someone that's paying for student living.
Yeah,
That's
my
off
wife asked that.
campus.
She said, "Do you think that they got them in just to get the money for the student living and then shut them out?"
I'm telling. I hate to say it that way, but that's how people act.
What it looks.
Listen,
Think about it.
The people act.
Because you can't sit here and think that that these colleges are dumb enough to think they're just going to come back and nobody's going to have
right.
it.
And there's
Nobody's
no goals.
going to have it.
There's no goals. We're in these universities. We have no goals of like you said. Is it 10? Is it 5? Is it 0?
And look, I will admit, the 130 on the first day, that's a little alarming. But like I said, how many of them have severe symptoms where they might have to go to the school's hospital and sit on a vent? But probably not many, because they were able to move in that weekend and be able to go there. That's just what's so crazy to me. And because now, and that obviously ties into sports,
Right.
Because now they're wondering, well, should the ACC, since North Carolina's part of it, should they even play sports? Should football season even start? It's going to trickle down to the SEC here in a minute. Should the SEC even play? Old crazy Paul Feinbaum's already been on the television saying, hey, I don't think it's a safe idea because there's no bubble.
Well, here's the thing about the college.
But what's so crazy is they won't listen to the players because the players are saying we want to play.
Well,
They don't listen. College students, if this is your opportunity, at least college athletes, to unionize, look at what they're basically telling you right now. We really don't give a shit what you say. We're going to do it our way.
for a college coach to say, it's a different kind of with the high school kids. Like, why do you have to go be in school to play sports when it seemed like you would double infect them or double their chances of infection? Now, as far as the college coaches go, Coach K came out and said we can't afford to lose the NCAA tournament again. Who can't afford to lose the NCAA tournament?
The conferences
The
can't.
coaches can't. And the conference.
I was about
Who
to
can't
say,
afford it?
the conferences and the coaches
The players
can't.
aren't getting paid.
Right.
So who can't afford it?
Well, Coach Cal
people
and a
who
lot
want-
of other people are trying to get it set up where there is a bubble set up for college basketball.
The reason
That's what they're going to do.
what Coach K means when he says they can't afford it means Duke isn't going to get their TV revenue, which isn't going to pay my $9 million salary. It ain't got nothing to do with they can't afford for 5 people to show up and play a basketball game. It's that we can't afford it to do it because we've got to pay our coaches. Think about it. Zach, if they were only concerned about the health and safety of the kids, and if they were their other biggest concern was that these are student athletes, right? Number one, we're students first. Then we shouldn't play sports. Okay. Then they shouldn't play sports at all. So shouldn't Saban say, you know what? Wouldn't this be in Coach K? You know what? It would be best if we all just took a year off. We concentrated on our schooling. We got Kyrie in a scientific class that shows him about the Earth being round.
Right.
But what I mean by it is that, say, Alabama's got 110 players on the roster, 85 scholarships. You only dress 45, 50. Should those 40 people, Zach, that have no chance of ever playing in the NFL, even the walk-on stuff, even be allowed to be on the practice field? I wouldn't even allow them. That's if we're going to play. Now, if you're going to say, well, the best thing is because they're student athletes and we want them to be safe, then guess what, guys? You don't play football this year. You don't. No. You don't play sport. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not on that end. What I'm saying is that the arguments they make are all hypocritical.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about them wanting their big $1 million paychecks. It's not about the kids' safety.
Right.
If it was, they wouldn't play. And if they do, they wouldn't let those 40 extra people even around the team. And I just don't think that I think the coaches, the Sabans and the K's want their
And the reason
millions
why
of
I
dollars.
just don't understand it either is because I applauded what the NFL did by setting a cutoff saying, by this date, if you're going to opt out, you should. Other than that, you're accepting the risk. You understand the risk of coming back. That's the exact same thing that these universities essentially did when they told these kids you can either come back to campus, but there will also be online. And then all of a sudden, we're all up in arms that kids actually came back to campus and had it? What? Like I'm saying, you can't fool me and make me think that I'm dumb for thinking there's no way you didn't expect this to happen if you're a major university. Think about it. You got kids, they don't all just live on campus all year long. Okay, people go home. They go home. That was the biggest problem, and that was what was so crazy because I think Notre Dame just flipped back to all online classes. But originally, the what do they call it? The chancellor, is that who it is? The guy that the president of the university. Originally, what he wanted to do was when they're on campus, keep them here and don't let them go home for fall and spring break.
What do you think about the way that they? I mean, it whether it's sports or whether it's even in the world that we see. Let's look at the rational thinking that they don't have. They let people out of jail because the coronavirus is so dangerous, right?
They did.
If the mask worked, why wouldn't we just give them a mask when they was in jail? Number two, they sent the kids to school, but they're letting people out. So it's the same argument for what we're talking about there. Letting the kids go to school if it's this really bad virus, we're gonna let people out of jail, or we can't let anybody get together. But when the coaches, we want to get them together because we ain't gonna get our salaries paid. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. They're making their
There's nothing congruent. It's all over the
You've got a
place.
lot
It's
of
two
so
lines of
different.
thinking.
You got a lot of people, presidents, chancellors, coaches, administrators, making tons of money off these deals, and that's what they say when they can't afford it. Coach Kiffin, Hunter's favorite coach, Lane Kiffin.
I do like Lane Kiffin.
Says that, and I mentioned this last weekend, and Tom and Terry kind of poo-pooed it. Nah, I can't remember if Hunter did it either.
They always poo-poo and
But
stuff.
I just thought that, and I might be wrong on if it might have been just Terry, but about saying that the Big Ten players should be able to transfer immediately if they're not going to play. And
I know I didn't poo-poo that because
came up
that
with the
was been
argument.
my question the
Are
whole
you saying
time.
they should be able to?
Oh yeah,
I
if they
agree.
want to play in the
Absolutely.
fall, absolutely.
Yeah, that
there's
wasn't their decision.
Well, there's also no guarantee that there's going to be a game in the spring.
Yeah, there's no guarantee.
So what if you stay in high school instead of going early to a college, and instead of going in the spring, and then you stayed to play spring ball, and then they cancel spring ball. So
I don't know, man.
You end up staying a whole extra semester that you didn't need.
We're
to or
already
want to.
seeing what I knew was going to happen. Another local kid, big name in the United States too, has opted out from football. Sage. So Sage Surratt,
wide receiver, Wake Forest.
wide receiver, Wake Forest. He is on Mel Kiper's. He's actually the 24th highest ranked player on Mel Kiper's big board coming out next year. So he's got pretty big. That's pretty big, especially for a local grown kid. All right. But who started it at the college level? It's another local kid, Caleb Farley. So he started it too. But those are both ACC kids. And I knew we would start seeing it as soon as the NCAA came out and said we will not be playing for a national championship. It is basically just going to be for your conference championship. Now you have all this stuff coming out where the schools are like, oh, we can't be having all these kids on campus anymore because look at this. It was a huge outbreak on day one. This is not going to shock me especially if the Big Ten doesn't overturn it and decide to play in the fall, if almost every single Ohio State starter opts out. I know Justin Fields is doing a great job by pushing, getting the petition signed to try and get the Big Ten to reinstate the fall season, but it would not surprise me if he gets an inkling and the rest of them that know they're going to get drafted, and when they say, you know what, Sage has done it at Wake Forest. Caleb Farley's done it at Virginia Tech. Teams that probably didn't even have an opportunity to play for a national championship, if there was one, why should we play? Why should we play? It's the same thing that you could say about Trevor Lawrence now at Clemson. Why should Trevor Lawrence play?
There's no reason. For
There's
him
no
to be
way,
out there.
especially if you're a top 5 pick, regardless. Maybe even a first rounder. There's no reason.
So I got Sage here. This is NFL draftnetwork.com. They've got him at 48th overall as the 8th best wide receiver.
I'll tell you what, though. Some people could say, oh, he should be higher. Some people will argue that, oh, he should be lower. To me, you know what? I think that's just perfect for him. I think it's perfect for him. But he's now taking himself out of an opportunity to work his way up that draft board, but he's also taking himself out of an opportunity of getting hurt, which is fine. It's just one of those things now that comes down to, I need people to start putting concrete numbers when they're saying we're canceling things. I need people to stay this is the exact number we're getting to, and then we're sending kids home. You've got all of these parents now that probably weren't expecting that they need to go and spend a couple $100s on a laptop. Now they got to go. You have these school systems now. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I'm in school for IT. I'm in school for technical support, internet. Okay. Now you've got all these school systems. What'd you say? Who was it? Gaston County? Oh, it was almost the whole Gaston County school system, because it doesn't just work for high school. That school system is over high school, middle school, and elementary school IT stuff, and it crashed. So now with people forcing their hand, having to go all online, this is not going to be straight and everything straightened out. And the college is not going to be this way either, because they have to do a flip of a switch. They thought they were going to have some online classes too. Now everybody's wanting to go online after a couple, I get the North Carolina thing was kind of extreme, but maybe there's 10 or 20 cases per college area, and they just flipping out. They're just flipping out. So this is going to take a while for anything to get back to normal. And you guys are probably sitting here that are listening like, well, you guys are sports. Why are you talking about this? Because it is going to affect sports.
Oh, yeah, big time.
This is going to affect sports because the chancellors at these universities, president, chancellor, whatever the hell you want to call it, you couldn't tell me right now the chancellor or the president, whatever he's called, at the University of North Carolina is not biting at his fingernails saying maybe not, maybe we don't need to play sports. I just don't know. You couldn't. I mean, you can't tell me that he's not thinking that, and all these other chancellors aren't thinking that.
Was that?
I'm just talking
That's
about.
why I wrote
Yeah, I know, kids. I don't have to deal with that yet, but it's understandable. But I was just saying how people could sit here and say, "Well, you're not talking about sports," but this is going to affect sports because you couldn't tell me that after all this happened, day one at the University of North Carolina, that the chancellor, president, or whoever it is, isn't kind of biting at his nails, saying, "Do we really need to be playing football? Do we really need to play basketball this year?"
Oh yeah, well they actually are because they need the money. Where's that chancellor getting that money, huh?
Students that signed up to go to the university, paid for student housing, and then he said, "Well, shit, you guys probably should have just been online anyways. You should just go home."
Anytime, these millionaires start talking about we've got to play, like think about it, like Zach, if you've made in Saban's case or Dabney's space, if you've made $9, $8, $9, $10 million a year,
however long you've been coaching,
what reason do you have to what reason could you come out and say that your team needs to play? Because it ain't health, it ain't it's just weird, and I don't trust them at all.
I was looking up with Sage. They got him ranked as the 57th overall on CBS, 57th overall.
Yeah, this one's got him at 48. So that's what?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's
mid-second round.
That's pretty
round,
good.
Second, third round. Yeah, that's great.
I can't say I blame him on that.
I think the only thing that's gonna
It's
hurt
Wake Forest.
Sage.
How good is Wake Forest?
Well, they were pretty good last year, but
They had him listed at 6'2".
not a national power, but
They got him at 6'3" on CBS.
this is the only thing I think that knocks him. He's not a burner. He's
true too.
He's not a
he's
burner.
He's hands.
Yeah. He's possession.
possession.
You got Michael
He's Larry.
Thomas in the NFL.
That's what I was about to say. He's a lot Michael Thomas.
Well,
Not a super good speed, but can catch.
Thomas is a little bit
I
bigger
feel
than
like
him.
I could probably label
think
him
so.
Michael Thomas a lot better than me just going out and saying he's Larry, because Larry was never known for being a burner, but he's always had hands. And so that's kind of like, if you just are thinking about your prototypical possession receiver, that's going to be Sage. But I can tell you which one of those two boys is not sitting out if they do have a football season, and that's Chaz, because he can't afford to.
Yeah.
Because he's still got
He's a senior.
He's still got too big of a question mark around, can he play the linebacker at a high level?
Sage is 215 listed here. Michael Thomas is 6'3", 203. I thought Thomas was bigger than that.
Yeah.
I thought Thomas was big. He's
He
bigger.
looks- he's
He
cut.
looks
He's
bigger.
cut.
He's basically the same size as
Pretty good
Michael
size
Thomas.
then. What about how big is Chaz?
Chaz is 6'3", 225, 230.
It's because he's
Still a
had to
bit
bulk
bigger.
up. He's had to bulk up. Just whether you're playing
they're
quarterback
not
or playing
twins either,
linebacker.
Hunter.
No, I know that.
No.
No, I know that. But I mean, they're similar. They're very
Right,
close.
right,
They're
right.
very close.
Sage was in high school. Chaz is listed at 6'3" and Sage 6'4". Seeing 6'2" on there, that makes me worried that they got an actual real measurement on him.
Yep.
But you've got 6'3" on yours. I don't see why it'd be different. They ought to be going by Wake Forest's whatever the listing is. Hunter, Chaz,
He needs this season.
nah, not necessarily.
I think he does.
You've already been named a Blitnikoff winner or whatever,
A finalist.
a finalist, or whatever, or a Blitnikoff watch list.
Mm-hmm.
So he's already on the radar.
Right.
Once you're on the radar, I don't think it's
Well,
I don't think it's that important to try to improve your draft stock unless you're trying to go from 5th round to 1st rounder. Because after you're a 1st rounder,
but do you think he could do it though?
nah.
Could go? Well, listen. The amount of money we're talking though, too, between a 5th rounder and just like a 2nd rounder is a lot, and potentially, you know how much closer 5th round is to 7th round, or being undrafted. I'm telling. To me, it could not hurt his draft stock to play this
Oh,
year.
no, I'm not saying that
if
at all.
anything, it would just make it a lot higher. I'm not saying he'll be a 1st round pick, but
Who's this guy?
I don't know. They got a picture on there that's not him
Yeah. They got him 4th in the nation, Hunter, so he's good.
at a linebacker.
He's good.
Really?
Yeah. NFL draft does.
That's pretty impressive. He might be 1st round.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
To second.
It just depends on. Here's the thing.
Who's coming out?
On him. Listed at 6'3", 230. Obviously, his speed is good enough. I think he's outside no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's big enough to play defensive end, do you?
No, but
No.
he's big enough to play
He
safety.
need to be like 6'5".
Now, safety.
He's big enough to play safety.
Yeah.
Cam Chancellor was just as big as him and was a menace.
They don't like putting big safeties out there.
Jamal
Muse,
Adams is close to him, too.
Did you see Tanner Muse moved to linebacker?
I'm not
Clemson?
surprised.
I would surely think Chaz this to be close to fast or quick as,
Well,
but to me, Hunter, if he was gonna, I think he's gonna sit in at linebacker because I don't think North Carolina would have allowed him. I think they would have stuck him at safety if they were going to. At some point, you got to say, you got to play a position and play it as opposed to, or we're just gonna let you leave and go play quarterback.
I'm telling
somewhere
you,
else.
though.
But he's fourth right now.
I'm just telling you, to me, what is going to dictate whether he works or not is how good Isaiah Simmons, or at least how high he gets picked, is how good Isaiah Simmons plays for Arizona. Because Isaiah Simmons and Chaz are built the same. They both can run that 4.4 speed area. Chaz might be just a tad slower than him. But Chaz is also just a little bit bigger than Isaiah Simmons. And they've got Isaiah Simmons. He was the hybrid. He was the guy that came out and said, I can play 4 different positions. He said, you can line me up on the slot, you can line me at the linebacker, put me there at an edge rusher, and put me at safety. So I think Chaz could become one of those hybrid players, and really, if it wants to make him, I thought it was going to hurt Isaiah Simmons because a lot of defensive coordinators said, I really just don't know what to do with him. But it might make him more valuable because then the defensive coordinator can say, well, I might not know what I'm going to do with him right now, but I can sure do a whole lot with him.
So, compared him to,
I don't think he's got the nose to be an inside linebacker. The Mike.
I was trying to look up size, for that.
so Luke Kuechly is 6'3", 238. Chaz 6'3", 230. He can do it if he wanted to.
I was looking at Urlacher. He's like a beast. He's 6'4", 260.
What
that was a grown man.
What would make Chaz, put it this way, if he plays middle linebacker, he'll have a bigger name in the NFL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays outside, he won't. Because if he plays middle, and here's why I would like, you like a bigger guy in the middle, but in today's NFL,
everything's so
doesn't
much
really
faster,
matter.
it don't
What about
matter.
Thomas Davis?
Well, think about it. Kuechly 6'3", 238. I mean, he surely put on 8 pounds of muscle.
Oh, yeah.
So Chaz could easily do that.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing with Chaz, what would make him such a good middle linebacker is what's the middle linebacker's job?
Read that quarterback.
Before the play, is to read the defense, spread the word,
Being
be
a
the captain
quarterback,
of the
you'd have him.
Being a quarterback, he's got to use advantage, Zach.
Yep.
He can look at wide receivers and look at their splits. He can look at his tight end. He can look at the quarterback. He can look at running backs. If he's in the middle making calls, and the only reason, Hunter, I don't think Carolina's done it yet because he's very raw at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think that could be a spot that he could be very good at it. If not, where he starts off in the league in the Thomas Davis position in a nickel, where if Luke gets hurt or whoever's in the middle gets hurt, he could easily just fill in and do it. But listen, dude, they've got him at 4th, and they've got Sage at 8. They're gonna make it. They're gonna be drafted. They're gonna come out, and I think they're gonna be okay.
Thomas Davis 6'1", 230.
Still big though, like not 6'1", but the 230.
Sage is bigger than him.
Sage is bigger. Chaz is bigger than him.
So here's your. I'll read your.
What's the synopsis?
Report on Chaz.
What do they give? What are they talking about, Chaz?
Oh, pro outstanding physical traits determine size, body composition, and mobility. Excellent range, lateral mobility, and his pedal is fluid, whatever that means.
I guess maybe his first step.
Good spring and overall bounce in his step. Really like how quickly he changes directions and covers grounds. Has no issues getting depth and drops and getting outside the tackles to finish. Closes distance rapidly when blitzing. I guess I could pull this up.
Because he's fast.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that.
Right. Let's see. When shooting gaps and blitzing, performs well in initial action at linebacker after converting from quarterback. Urgent physical football player. Some impressive zone drops already where he reads the backfield and fluidity, working through the throwing lanes. Still new to the position. Here's his cons, and it's clear he's developing an understanding of his responsibilities. Still finding consistency as a tackler and setting himself up to finish with correct angles. Some scrapes need to be tighter so he doesn't inadvertently widen gaps. Block deconstruction and playing off contact is a work in progress, but he certainly isn't shy. Needs more time to gain experience and comfort at the position when it's apparent that happened throughout the course of 2019. So basically, his weaknesses is once he gets blocked, he doesn't either get off the block or
He gives up on the
or
play.
he ends up in the wrong spot. So Hunter, for example, if you're playing the option, okay, and here is what people that like, read fantasy football and fantasy basketball, they don't understand that people have responsibilities. Whether like my job, like the wide receiver's job isn't to catch a pass every time. So on a lot of the time, so at middle linebacker and in college you'll have it with the full. Hell, they don't even have fullbacks anymore. No. But for example, I'll put it this way: one time I had to move up to play linebacker in a game, and my only responsibility was tackle the fullback because they were running the option. So every single play, whether they faked it to the handoff to the fullback. Well, there wasn't nobody there hitting but me. So for 20-some straight plays, I just hit the fullback.
Yeah.
If he had the ball, it made a tackle.
Yeah.
If he didn't, somebody else had to make the tackle.
You just hit him.
That was the only thing I could have to do. And that's kind of what they're talking about him with his, I would say, with his understanding of his responsibilities. So blitz coverage, if they're doing a stun up front, which way am I going? Where am I supposed to be? Just simple things like that. But I think he'll be okay. All right, so the Surratts, Chaz hasn't announced he's going yet, but I would imagine if his brother is, he would be shortly, Hunter.
I was about to say, people are enjoying my neck.
What I don't get for the folks watching here is that see how far away we are on this one, and then I click on this one, and Zach's like 2 inches from it. Like it don't make it. I didn't zoom or anything. I didn't do anything different. They're all cropped the same. Like why is Zach so much closer? Like Hunter just looks far away.
And I'm not really. I don't know.
We're all pretty much the same distance from the cameras, and they all look slightly different. All right.
I don't know college, but
there's your college and high
with
school.
College
updates.
and high school talk. I'm telling you, I think we'll see the end before we even see the beginning. At least at the high school level, definitely. College, they're pushing way too hard, but they know why. And we all know why.
Before we move on, Zach, will we go over with you my proposals on the size of the high school football teams?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. About how if you had a certain number of players, you're usually a pretty good team.
From last year to qualify up.
Yeah. All right, Raptors and Nets are tied with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, 47-47.
And that surprises me.
Oh, yeah. I when they said that game's on today, I was like, we ain't going to have nothing to talk about on that. So let's
You thought it was going to be a blowout.
Let's go through some of these first round games, first round matchups, what we've had so far. 2 number 1 seeds have been beaten. 2 number 1 seeds are down 0-1.
And
now everybody that's walked in this building the last 2 weeks has picked Portland to beat the Lakers. So I'm going to say no surprise from you guys on that one.
No.
Charles Barkley said last night if Portland wins game 1, they will
sweep. That's oof.
So let's start there. With
I don't know if I would go that far.
Backwards.
There's no home field advantage.
That's the key.
None.
That is huge.
You're playing.
You got to get yourself up.
Up.
You got to get yourself up. Like when you're down,
have you been paying attention to the music any?
Yeah,
offense, defense.
Not really.
You know what I'm talking about, Zach? So in NBA
sometimes
basketball
there's
game,
DJs.
they play music during the game.
Yeah.
Like it's the only sports they just the DJs over here having a good
Always.
time. So when you're at home, you get happy, upbeat music on offense, and then when you're on defense, it's defense, stuff like that. So, and they miss a shot, it's bow bow. Or somebody like if LeBron's in town, he makes a shot, 2-pointer by LeBron James. Devontae Graham hits a shot. Devontae Graham's the greatest comeback player of all time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
they hype it up for the home team.
I just wonder because I did see the Nuggets. I did see the Nuggets logo on the court yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I think those are just graphics, though.
That's TV graphics.
I don't know if it's a TV graphic or if it's like, you know how sometimes they might have the light and it's shining down.
They probably
on
put slides in a light.
Either way,
you know what I'm saying?
Either way, my question was: are they treating them like home teams in the music too? Because what reason are you calling a team the home team in this environment if there is no advantage? And the only advantage I can come up with is the fan/music thing.
What
there is any
weird is like when we're watching just on television, of course we hear the fake crowd noise, but the players don't hear the fake crowd noise. But I did see a highlight from Damian Lillard last night after he drains that huge three and he's running back down on defense and he started dancing because they were actually playing music behind him. And he came and they asked him what that little dance was at the end and he said they played, I think he was like, they played some sort of East Side jam or something that he knew and he said, and I had to do it to him. That's what he said.
He's his own rapper. Why don't they play his music?
I know, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Like for their home games, just play Dollar Dame.
Right.
But I don't know. That's a good question because they would have to have something. There's no way they just let them play in silence and where they're just like, get away, Dame.
I'm
No.
interested in the specifics on that.
He hit a bomb on him last night. That's for sure.
Good God.
At
It
one
was
from
like he was like one step over half court and he made it.
Ridiculous.
So there was all kinds of hyperbole going across the Twitter and stuff about Lillard. And so Kenny Smith said he's the greatest long-distance shooter ever.
saw that.
And then Steph Curry responded like, what?
Yeah.
I'm still here.
And Curry shoots 47% beyond 30 feet.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
47% past 30 feet.
Mm.
That's stupid. Dame's at 31%.
Yeah.
They played last year, the Warriors without Durant, and they swept them in the Western Conference Finals. So, listen,
It's
Lillard's
what have
good.
you done for me now? And that's what he saw, and that's what he
nobody's
said.
mentioned Kevin Durant's name in months, have they?
Because we haven't seen him in months.
Last year, nobody mentioned LeBron for months.
We didn't see him for months.
When you hadn't seen him, what have you done for me lately? You're right, Zach. So last night, Gastonia's Hassan Whiteside
Blocked the king.
got 5 blocks last night, and
He's doing what they need him to do.
well, he also had 5 fouls. He had 3 fouls in the first 10 minutes of him
They're
playing.
he's doing what
Is that
they
not what I
need
said
him
the
to
other
do.
day?
Just
Every
throw
time
him a
LeBron
body.
throws,
Yeah.
goes to the lane, try to block a shot with Whiteside.
Yeah.
If you foul him, you foul him. If you foul him, he goes to the line and shoots 67%. But you can't just let people go to the lane
No.
and do layup drills. And then
No.
again, if Anthony Davis and LeBron are your best 2 players, who are you going to get points from? Where are you going to get scoring from?
I don't know.
And if they, let's say
Well,
they both,
that was on display last night.
let's say if they both, and they don't have 3-point shooters, what I mean by, is LeBron and Anthony Davis going to 2-point you to be able to beat you 3-pointer?
Yeah, maybe.
What you going to do? You going to go watch a movie with Austin and them, or you going to stay in here? All right, you go watch a movie. I'll tell him you're coming. Kids here today.
Yeah. The kids are here today. He did get a fist bump, so the coronavirus is
Well, hey, there you go. There you go. But I will say this. We're looking at the Lakers game.
I hope they get swept.
Listen to this.
And I don't like Portland.
We talked about plus minus, I think, Monday, and how it's kind of a second-tier analytical type statistic, plus minus. And
Yeah.
I'm looking here at the
I
starters.
think it's a very important
oh,
statistic.
yeah.
I mean, like,
And I'm looking at this here for the starters for the Lakers. Anthony Davis, minus 20. LeBron, minus 3. JaVale McGee, minus 9. Danny Green, minus 20. And Caldwell Pope, minus 18.
and when you're not, they weren't scoring. So when you're not scoring, you're gonna have you're gonna be in the the plus minus.
The
You're
only,
definitely gonna be in the minus.
the only person that so they were all in the minus. That was all the starters for the Lakers. The only player in the minus for the Trailblazers was Carmelo Anthony. It was minus 2. That's it. That was it.
Well, I personally hope the Lakers get swept because I love what that'll do for LeBron's legacy.
How are you gonna have 2 of your 5 starters combined for 7 points?
Do I kind of feel bad for what's happening with the Lakers a little bit because
No.
they're really not fielding their team that they have, but I hope they get swept.
I don't feel sorry for him. at
I'll
all.
never feel
You
bad
can't
for the
look-
Lakers. I don't care if LeBron was on that team or if it was still Kobe's team. I will not feel sorry for the
Well,
Lakers.
no, not the
because
Lakers.
what is it? They've got like 13 championships or something like that.
LeBron.
I don't care.
LeBron tries to get the best. He's not happy in a series, and this is what was weird to me. Like, he's not happy in a series, or he doesn't win the series unless 1 through 5 his teammates can beat the other guys. Like, it's never LeBron and a bunch of scrubs, and we're going to outplay you. It's I've got Anthony Davis, I got Kevin Love and Kyrie, I've got Chris Bosh, and I've got Dwayne Wade. I've always got these other guys that when you add it up, we can beat them 3-2 on the floor. And then now it's right now it's 2-3. Like, it's just him and Anthony Davis, and there is no 3-point shooting. He had 22, 17, and 15 last night for LeBron.
First time anybody's ever recorded that stat line.
Because I did this yesterday or Monday.
But who needs him getting 16 assists to Caruso?
Yeah.
Caruso's 0 for whatever from 3-point line. How many passes did LeBron throw to Caruso hoping to get an assist that he didn't get one? So, again, back to Jordan and Kobe. Listen, you can get your assist, you can pass them all you want, but if you're not getting yours, your team's going to lose.
And they were up 6.
He can't score 2,200 and then win.
They were up
Here's the
6.
thing.
They were
No.
up 6 late. If you're the best player in the league,
How
you
did they
take the
blow
game
that?
over.
This is what's so bad.
He's
So
running the point. He could have walked it up.
Shannon,
game over.
Shannon Sharp made a good point this morning. He said, for Anthony Davis to get 28, it took 24 shots. And for LeBron James to get 23, it took 20 shots. That's not efficient. That's just not efficient. Usually, it would only take LeBron maybe 10 to 15 shots to get 20, and then he'll go to the line. Both of them, I want to think about this. LeBron missed 3 free throws. Anthony Davis missed 5 free throws. They're free
Lost
for a
by
reason.
7.
They lost by 7.
How many does that add up to? LeBron and
8.
Set.
8.
8. Okay, well, close enough. Anyway.
No wonder you didn't. No wonder you didn't pass your Amazon test.
No, that's me and math. I just try and go as fast as I can. But this is the easiest
fine.
math I can tell you. You made a very good point a second ago, Kevin, when you said this. LeBron, numbers-wise, for the past few years, has always tried to have at least one guy up on somebody. Cleveland, he had, as much as people can kind of say maybe he wasn't really a star, but Kevin Love, he had Kevin Love, and he had Kyrie. Kevin Love, I know, was hurt for a few of those series and whatnot, can never really be healthy, and Kyrie's always had his injuries, but whatever. So there we go. There's 3 of them, right? And then when he was in Miami, there's 3 of them. There's him, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. So then you could look at them and say, pick your poison. Even then, you could technically almost say it was 4 because Ray Allen was still one of the best spot-up three-point shooters at the time after just leaving Miami. But now, because I literally laid this out Monday, this is from Monday. So the Lakers, if we just go based off of the starting 5 that Portland and Los Angeles are putting out on the court, the numbers game is in favor of Portland. Who's got the better point guard? Portland's not even close. Damian Lillard. Who's got the better shooting guard? Portland. C.J. McCollum. Who's got the better small forward? LeBron. I'll concede LeBron. Who's got the better power forward? It's Anthony Davis. Who's got the better center? Nurkic. And I'm just talking straight starters.
And they could bring in Whiteside off the bench.
Yeah, but
Whiteside get the exact same thing JaVale McGee.
But I'm just talking about starters, and let's see how close I got. So I said, we'll give LeBron and Anthony Davis 30 because they can both get 30 easily. With that starting 5, they can get 30 easily. So that would just be 60. Damian Lillard can get you 30 easily. Well, Damian Lillard last night had 34, so I was correct on that. I said C.J. McCollum can get you 20. He had 21. I was correct on that. So right now, we're already, just based off of the numbers I put, we're hitting. So we're at 50 right now. And then I said Nurkic would get you 15.
Mm-hmm.
He had 16 points. I literally hit everything I talked about Monday just now. And even if LeBron and Anthony Davis did go out there and score 30 points, they still lose because they would lose 65 to 60.
Your 3 main guys in the playoffs. Write down the number, Hunter. 75.
Yeah, they need to score 75.
They need that many points.
Mm-hmm.
And and if I probably added this up more, it'd probably be closer to 70.
And the reason that is because the teams are top heavy.
Right.
I mean, it filtered back in the day too, but the teams are so top heavy now that you only got 3 scores.
Well, you go into a game.
That's crazy that I
almost every
literally
game-
hit each of these
almost
except for LeBron James.
Well, just almost every game that you go into a game thinking that you need 75 from 3 guys. So just thinking in playoffs, Jordan would get 35. Pippen would get 20, 25. So that's 55.
And you got
So
Kukoc going to come in. He's going to get 12 to 15.
You need 15 to 20 from Kukoc or Horace Grant.
Yeah.
And that's what you need, those 75 from the 3 guys. And then after that, you can finish off. What's weird, me and Hunter talked about the other day, kind of that game last night, that's a 90s playoff game.
Yeah.
100 to 93.
Yeah.
Like 100 used to be the goal. Like, so when you see a game like,
Because we play defense.
right, you see a game that was 130 to 125.
You're like, what the crap?
how important are
that would've-
layups or dunks and free
that,
throws or
and that
any
would have been
shots?
a Phoenix Suns later.
Yeah.
The later Phoenix when they had Stoudemire and those guys. That was when they was starting to score more.
See, this is what's so crazy.
Last
so like
night the
I
Lakers
had
had
said,
65
Yeah.
from their top 3.
yeah, but out of their top 2, like just based off of, so we said who has the advantage out of starting 5s.
Oh yeah.
Their top 2 only put up 51, whereas the 3 over here for Portland, I mean, I practically hit it. So I'm just gonna keep with these numbers. That's still 65, regardless. They smoked them.
And you throw in the there's no home field advantage, home team advantage. There's not.
Lakers starters only got 68 points.
Yeah, because they had one of them that had
That's
1
horrible.
point.
That is absolutely
Caldwell
horrible.
Pope, 1 point.
JaVale
McGee,
McGee,
7. Or sorry, 6.
Yeah.
Add those together, it's only 7 points. Everybody had double digits for Portland except for one player, and it's just whoever that Gabriel guy is.
don't
But
know.
he only played 16 minutes.
Right.
The rest
Whiteside
of the
and-
starters played. Whiteside played more
Now-
than him, and Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah.
And keeping with past history with Danny Green, he might come out and hit you for 30.
Danny had 2. He was 2 of 8. So no matter who you want to do.
I mean, look, I'm looking at this, and
Anthony
I'm
Davis
saying,
missed all 5.
I'm saying,
0 for 5.
Lakers, you should have just started Kyle Kuzma. He had 14 off the bench. What did Caldwell Pope get you?
LeBron, Pope, and Anthony Davis in the starting lineup went 1 of 15 from 3. And then Kuzma went 1 of 5. So 2 of
Avery
20.
Bradley's not there. He's their 3-point shooter.
2 of
And
20.
a defensive player, too.
Mm-hmm.
2
This
of
is-
20.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know if Portland.
I hope they get put out.
I don't
hope
know
the Nets
if
get put
I
out.
don't
Not
know.
the Nets.
You talking about the
Bucks.
Bucks? That'd be funny. I don't know if Portland can win this series against the Lakers, but this might go 7.
Portland didn't have a great record overall. For
35
the year.
and 39.
Yeah, that's they had a better
14
lineup
and
than they
24 away.
Well, these
But
two
this don't
these
count,
two teams are
but-
the opposite from the regular season. The Lakers were full boat regular season
Yeah.
for the most part, and then now we got 2 players out. And the Portland spent their whole season with injury problems.
No Nurkic.
Rodney Hood
Yeah.
isn't even here.
No, he's not playing.
Yeah.
So
and that's a huge.
He would
off the
be
bench.
taking Gabriel's spot maybe.
Oh, he'd be
or-
starting.
or-
for
Okay,
Gabe.
so-
yeah, definitely.
I know what it was. Rodney Hood got injured. That's why they signed Carmelo, because Hood is a small forward. They needed scoring from the wing
They play
position.
so they playing 3 real small. They're playing a 3-guard lineup.
Ten-
Two forwards.
I mean, right here it says
Hood's not a small
they got Lillard and McCollum point guard, shooting guard, but they got Anthony and Gabriel listed at power forwards. Are you kidding
Anthony
me?
ain't never been a power forward.
Carmelo Anthony always been a small forward. He's like 6'8" and a hot dog.
I mean, and you know what? Hey, if he could get hot in the game and pitch you for 30.
he scored 11. He was 3 for 11, 2 for 5 from the 3-point line.
If Olympic Melo shows up, they all better go home.
So, are you feeling any one of you that the Magic are going to upset the Bucks?
No, I don't.
I hope they do. I don't think they
I
will.
don't feel as confident in that game as I do with possibly the Trailblazers beating the Lakers.
Heat beat the Pacers by 12. Rockets beat the Thunder 123-108.
No Westbrook.
The only team that I care about got beat last night. Dallas.
They didn't play last night.
They played the night
Not
before.
for you. Sorry.
But they gave the Clippers everything they wanted.
I think
they
that's,
got a bad draw.
I think that's just a draw for Dallas.
they
I
did.
think
I think it was also a
And
weak
they got their-
ass call.
And they got
to-
their second best player through
Yeah, I
the
was supposed to say
game.
weak call to throw out Kristaps. Weak call.
if they play the Thunder or the Rockets or the Jazz, are we picking Dallas to win? This?
Yes.
Thunder, Rockets, or Jazz? Thunder. Yeah.
Over the
absolutely.
Jazz, over the Thunder. I don't know about the Rockets, but that's if they have
It's at
Westbrook.
least going to be a good series
Yes.
with the Rockets.
But see, I think this one's going to be a good series regardless.
I don't know
It
if
was
Dallas
only an
can beat 'em.
8-point game.
I just don't know if Dallas.
I
can
don't
beat
know.
them. I
I'm
think
not
they're in
saying-
the same situation LA is, where they only got 2 main scorers.
Oh, you're talking about how the Lakers are right
I think
now?
Dallas and,
That's
and
just
the Lakers
Kristaps and
are in the same
Yeah.
positions with their lineups. And
Luka.
if they played each other, I think it would be an outstanding series watching them play each other. Think about
Because
Porzingis
they're gonna
and Anthony Davis,
they're
then Luka
going
versus
to
LeBron.
they're going to cancel each other out, and
Right.
then the best role players is going to
Mhm.
win the game. Because the stars are going to cancel each other out. Luka's going to be a triple double.
I was about to say, they won't necessarily just cancel each other out, but you won't stop them. You know what you'll get from each of them. The biggest X factor though between like if Dallas was to play the Lakers, it's the same thing that Charles said would be the reason that the Lakers would win. is Anthony Davis going to show up? You know, last night in the fourth quarter, he had 2 points.
And you remember
He
what
had
Skip
2
said?
points.
On Monday, I reminded Hunter that he only averaged 3 points in the regular season in the fourth.
Skip said when they got Anthony Davis and when they got LeBron, neither one of them's an alpha. They both shrink when the spotlight's on. They have nobody to take over the game.
I said that Monday because now Anthony Davis has been in the playoffs before, just now he's with a different team, and he actually has another superstar with him. But Drew Holiday was never bad with him in New Orleans, and he's only ever made it out of the first round one time. He's been in the league, 7-8 years now? Mm-hmm. Before that, he was just getting swept. And he can be dominant. I mean, he scored 28 last night, still on an absolutely horrid night shooting. Mm-hmm. But you're going into crunch time and you only get me 2 points. How many times can we sit here and say Michael or Kobe only had 2 points or even LeBron had 2 points in a fourth quarter?
I don't know about that.
Probably never, unless they were just injured and had to come out. But even then, Kobe would have shot on a torn Achilles. That's what he did.
I think LeBron stunk it up in the Denver series. I mean, the Dallas series years ago. So
yeah, but I don't know if he only had 2 points in a fourth quarter.
Yeah,
he might have had 4.
He got smoked by Dirk.
He might have had 4, but I don't know if it was just necessarily 2. So to me, the most intriguing series out of everybody that's in the first round is Portland and the Lakers, because that's the only opportunity I see where the 8 seed could upset the 1 seed. I think Orlando just got lucky, and I really don't want to just use the L word and say that they were lucky, but I think they just were, because Chris Middleton did not show up. Did you know that they paid Chris Middleton a max contract?
Yeah.
Idiots.
So I'm going to see what you think about this comparison as far as Giannis goes. So regular season.
Giannis is Orlando Shaq?
No, this is a different sport.
Okay, different sport.
He's Cam. So what I mean by that, if you're playing him in the regular season, are all 16 of your games designed to stop a running quarterback whose main play is to throw a swing pass to the running back? How many defenses are every week see something like that? They don't. So when you play Cam in the regular season, or you play one of these running quarterbacks in the regular season, say Lamar Jackson, you can get beat. Mm-hmm. You can get caught. Put it that way. Then you get in the playoffs. Well, all of a sudden, all the defenses are good. All the teams are good. All the teams are trying hard. They're designing defenses around Giannis. I'm not saying they're going to shut him down.
But he still had 30 in a loss.
What I'm saying, the preparation that you have against a physical specimen. Like Hunter, if you're getting paid $10 million against a physical specimen in the regular season, you're not going to risk your life, limb, and body for that. But if it's playoff time, he's getting fouled.
Well,
so
I'll say this too.
It's just a little bit different.
Do you know what he reminds me of? It's another comparison, another football comparison. The Bucs right now remind me of New England and Tom Brady last year. You know what Tom Brady's going to give you. What's everybody else going to give you?
Yeah.
What does his surrounding cast look like? And because think about it, the only difference between the Bucs and the Patriots of last year is the Bucs they've solidified their 1 seed. Patriots messed around, lost maybe 1 too many games last year. Didn't quite have the 1 seed. Didn't even have a top 2 seed, so they had to play again in the first round. But to me, it's one of those things where going into that game against Tennessee, we were like, okay, we know what Tom Brady's going to do. Is he going to have help? Are the wide receivers going to show up? Are the running backs going to show up for him? We know that defense is good, but are they going to be able to score points? And now here we are with Milwaukee. I know what Giannis is going to do because, like I said, last night in that loss, he had 31 in 34 minutes. Well, he almost was scoring a point a minute, and he was 3 from 7 from the 3-point line.
Here's the takeaway I take from it. It's those little statistics.
Yes. You
could look at their free throw percentage.
Oof.
94.7 for the Magic. Now that is over your head. 64% for Milwaukee.
I'll tell you what, Giannis reminds me, and everybody, my best friend hates it when I say it. He reminds me of a young LeBron. He's not great at shooting a 3 right now. He's dominant when he gets in the paint. He can't shoot free throws.
Do you know who missed the most free throws? It was Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And what he
There you
needs
go.
to do is definitely make sure he can hit free throws because with his play style, he's always getting hacked.
And I mean, his stat line was off the chart. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
17 rebounds, 7 assists. What was it? 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
31 in 34 minutes. So literally almost a point a minute.
So I mean, his stat line was off the chart, but free throws matter. Kids, if you're listening to me, learn how to shoot a free throw. It might win you an NBA championship.
I'm just saying.
It's sad that you got these players that are this talented that cannot hit a free
This
throw.
is another one that didn't show up for me, and it doesn't make any sense. Brook Lopez.
He was horrible.
He was How are you going to go 0 for 4 from the three-point line when I've seen you all during the regular season be absolutely money from the three-point line? I don't understand. Did the lights shine brightest and he didn't know what was happening? That's just crazy to me. And it's my buddy, my best friend literally he's an Orlando Magic fan. So I know he was just all up in arms and so happy about this. But I hate to tell him, Vucevic going for 35, and I don't think it happens again.
No.
But I'll tell you what, Giannis probably goes for 30 again. Chris Middleton might actually show up.
He'll up his.
And Brook Lopez will not just be minus 11 on the night and only
Plus-
score 5 points.
They got 15 out of Mark Fultz. I can't think it was Markel
Fultz,
Fultz.
he's gotten better, but I still can't get over the kid with the 76ers when he was there literally saying he forgot how to shoot. Light was just too big for him. The Bucks 56-17 on the season. This is there. I do not see them losing another game in this series. I could see
They
them
shouldn't.
a gentleman's sweep. Well, they did the same exact thing, or no, I'm sorry. The Magic did the same exact thing last year to Toronto. They won the first game against Toronto, and guess what? They got reverse swept. Gentleman's sweep. So, could it happen for the Bucks? Yeah, sure. There are tons of opportunities. Like I said, we're getting 5 games already, unless the Magic just go on some sort of historic, magical, play on words, a magical run and sweep the Bucks. But I don't see that happening. So, to me, I don't understand because that's one of the best defensive teams in basketball, the Bucks. And you so far in the bubble, you went 3-5, so you had a losing record throughout the 8 games in the bubble, and then you lose the first game that actually matters for you, which is the first round of the playoffs.
You know, you're talking about what they did in the bubble, and I kind of hated it for Phoenix as good as they were playing that they didn't. You know what I'm saying? They were lights out.
I think there should have been a concession somewhere that says if you go undefeated in the bubble, you are automatically, especially in the West, because I think they were setting it up for a play-in game anyways, you were the one to get in the play-in game because as much as Memphis and Portland was entertaining, I think Phoenix and Portland would have been just as entertaining.
Yeah.
Because it is unfortunate. They literally they did what they needed to do, which was go flawless,
And
they didn't even have an opportunity.
interesting thing that's going to come up is when's Booker a free agent?
I don't think it's far off, truthfully.
Because he is a stud and he's going somewhere.
Oh yeah, unless they absolutely throw the book at him. His contract right now keeps Booker in a Suns uniform through 2023-2024 season. So give it 3. That's 3 years, right? Yeah, because it'll be like start of the 23 season. It rolls over into 2024. So give him 3 years, 3.5 years. His contract will be up. But now look at it this way: the Suns just went 8-0. Do they just build off of this and then all of a sudden are a playoff contention team for the years to come?
They can be, and they'd had to go back to their prominence when they they had the Stoudemire days and they had Nash and they had before that they had the Barkley and those guys. I mean, it ain't like it's a no man's land.
No, it's not no man's land. It's definitely doable. And they already have a very good young core. Kelly Oubre was injured during this whole thing, but he's a good young small forward. He's kind of flamboyant, but I don't really care about that. Rodman was too and was a beast. So Kelly Oubre is very good.
Andre Ayton, I think.
DeAndre Ayton is very good. Okay, he's young. He'll be able to just continue to evolve his game a little bit. I think basketball maybe one day should go back to where the center is dominant, or at least plays a larger part in the game than just standing out at the three-point line and maybe just getting a rebound to kick it back out to a three-point shooter. But Devin Booker being with the Suns, if they just piggyback off of what they just did in the bubble next year, there'll be a problem. But I don't know. Maybe that's just a big maybe, because they're gonna have to throw a lot of money at him, because big market teams are gonna throw a lot of money at him for him to come out here and say, hey, there's an opportunity for you to win a championship somewhere else than just being in Phoenix. And there's another player that's gonna fall into that trap too, Milwaukee, with Giannis.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, after this year, Giannis' contract is up.
Oh yeah, because that's what the Warriors are banking on. They're gonna get Giannis.
Somebody's banking on trying to make a move for Giannis. And
you can win anywhere in the NBA.
If the Magic put the Bucks out, he's gone.
Because we was talking about Booker.
You need 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, why would you go to a place if you were still going to be the number one person if you didn't know that there's going to be 2 other stars?
I'll tell you exactly a place where he could thrive, and it's not big market. I mean, he could thrive in Indiana. He could thrive in Miami. Well, Miami's big market. But I'm just saying in Indiana, because you would have Oladipo as one of the extra guys that could be a part of that. Yeah. And T.J. Warren shows up every now and then. They got great center in Miles Turner. The problem is it's like what I was saying. Chris Middleton is your max player, but to me, he's not even worth it. Like, how can he be your 2 and you expect to win it all?
I wouldn't pay him because he's that ugly. But
God, he really is. Holy cow. You're not even joking.
I'm sorry. He's on the all-time ugly list.
Jeez, he is, man. It is not even close.
He's on there with Willie McGee from St. Louis. How about Willie just I'll say it in baseball, just from when I say the Cardinals in just a few minutes.
We was talking about the line for the Magic and the Bucks, and the biggest thing that shot out to me was 94% free throw percentage for the Magic. Woo! And 64 for the Bucks.
They shoot as bad as LeBron does from the line. Moving over to my picks for the championship was Toronto and Denver. Denver wins in overtime by 10. Off the bench, Zach 11 minutes, Plumlee 2 points, Dozier 20 minutes, 3 points. It's time to unleash the secret weapon. It's time to let Bol out of the gates. Because those 2 ain't doing shit.
And
I mean, why? Wow, let's play Dozier and Plumlee 31 points so they can get 31 minutes, they get 5 points. You don't think he's getting 5 in 31 minutes?
And they got and it goes back, and I hate to even bring up how horrible the Hornets are in drafting.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now for Denver. The guy that had the back injury.
Michael Porter Jr.
Yes, thank you.
They could have drafted him.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Why would you not just wait? We suck anyway. Why would you just wait? What's it going to matter to let somebody suck playing? Or we got Miles Bridges that year. Why would you not just take Michael Porter Jr.?
Here's my message.
He was a 1.
Here's my message for anyone in charge of drafting for the Charlotte Hornets. Who have a one-on-one tournament, and whoever wins, pick that guy.
Yeah, because he can get his own shot.
Right. 100% right. No more. He's got potential to be a good point guard. He's got potential. I don't want to see another big man with potential ever drafted in the first round by the Charlotte Hornets.
I do not want another Noah Vonleh.
Nobody at 6'8" and above who can't shoot at all should ever be drafted by the Hornets ever again. They've got plenty of prospects.
And
but for the love of God, have them play one-on-one, rank them in the order of who won. That's it. That's
Listen, Michael.
That's all they should do.
Michael, draft the one that looks at you and says, "I'll take you on," because you might have a gamer on your hands.
Now I just looked up to see where we might land in the draft and what's up. They got us projected at 4th now, and they're saying that we might be able to get the guy that didn't get to play for Memphis this year, the center. And I'm going, please no.
How are y'all sitting at 4th?
What they're projecting for the draft
5 to 11 just depends on how
I was about to say
the lottery works.
If anything, the one person that I've been preaching the Hornets should try and get, and they need to do a draft day move because I don't see him falling outside of 6, is Obi Toppin out of Dayton.
And
he is a small forward / power forward that can put the ball on the ground and create his own shot. The only knock that is going to be on him is people will say he might be a little old because he stayed a year or two in college. I don't care.
I don't
care.
At this point, everybody in the
Damian Lillard played, I think, all his years at Weber State.
Everybody in the NBA's got a good, decent point guard, and they got people that can rebound. So all your draft picks, just like I say a lot of times, all draft picks should be defensive players and linemen. You can sign other people to different positions. With basketball, like as far as the Hornets go, all your draft picks should be scorers. Every one of them. And then you can figure out the rest. You can pay. They've already got 12 people that can't score on their team. You can find those guys.
You can find bodies that throw fouls.
And you can pay them $20 million a year like we do.
You can pay Mozgov 15 if you want. But my point is, if you don't have scores at the shooting guard or small forward position, you're not going to win the NBA or most basketball.
And then Kevin said a minute ago, bring Bo in to take up for their slack. And I had Miami and the Lakers in my finals, and I didn't think that the Lakers were going to have the problem that they had at the beginning yesterday.
Yeah,
and nor did I think Jimmy Butler was going to go off the deep end with the vendetta against somebody on another team. It really don't matter.
Well, see, if this was 10 years ago, LeBron, I don't think Portland would have as much of a chance because. And
LeBron himself can win you 3 games.
LeBron, I'm not even talking about that. LeBron isn't explosive as he was.
Oh, no.
So Whitesides is the perfect center to be back. Him or Gobert, if they're back there, and LeBron's doing all that BS, I'm dropping my shoulders trying to do a layup off the glass, they're just going to beat that shot off the board. And they did. He blocked 5. He had 5 blocks. And once you get a shot blocker on LeBron, I don't think he's going to be as effective. 22 points. He knows going into that game, he can't score 22 points and win. You just,
not with that surrounding cast, no.
They lost by 7. So if he gets, I was going to say he's got to have at least 30. So if they get 30, he wins. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just that simple. You can't score.
Anthony Davis had 28. I said both of them needed to score 30.
To me,
I gave them 30, and they didn't. Neither one of them hit it.
To me, LeBron chases these random stats. Mm-hmm. That make
16 assists.
That make you sound.
No, what was it? 15 assists and like 17
better,
boards.
Or like Zach said, nobody's ever done that. Well, okay.
They lost.
Yeah.
I think
Jordan scored 63 in a playoff game.
He lost.
They lost.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell just scored 57 in a playoff game.
57 and lost.
He lost.
And he was nasty too.
I think that's the one that they said that Bird said that Jordan was God in a uniform. And they lost.
They lost.
Right. I think it's a bad matchup for the Lakers. All right, so Nuggets win by 10.
Yeah.
They play today at 4:00.
I keep telling Hunter they don't even need to unleash Bobo unless they're down, but I just want to see him damn play.
Look,
he's got way more talent than Morris. Grant's okay, but he made some horrible plays, didn't he?
Yeah. Hold your horses.
Did you watch the first game, Zach, the other day?
No, I did not.
Grant on back-to-back plays.
Oh, he airballed like a finger roll.
He airballed a finger roll. The other team gets the ball, of course. They start trying to run a fast break. Well, somebody after Denver picks it off and comes back the other way. They pass it over to Grant. Then he airball a 3.
Oh, no, they had passed it over to Grant.
Oh, he threw a
lob, and it was behind Michael Porter Jr.
That's what it was.
Like, you think it was going to hit a light up there. He just went.
So basically, Zach, he airballed a finger roll, and then 12 seconds later, he threw one of the worst alley-oops I've ever seen in my life.
Jeez.
But he ended up with 19 points, so he had a good game, but he had a bad few moments there early on. Jokic with 29, Murray 36, Porter with only 13. How about Millsap has been a no-show for most of the
I think he was a no-show for most of the
season.
8 games of the bubble.
Yeah,
I guess he is just veteran leadership. That's what they have. The X factor on that team is the guy that's not getting no respect, and it's Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray might be the best player on that team.
He's so he had 36, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And Mitchell had 57.
Mm-hmm. But 1-1.
All right.
It's the same aspect that Colin was just talking about the other day. He said, so Russell Westbrook is going to go out here and be all sorts of flashy when he was with the Thunder, but he wouldn't win when KD left. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Damian Lillard is still flashy, but he's winning. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't really have he's never really had a second star, really. You could say L.A. whenever Aldridge was there, but Aldridge is falling off a cliff now wherever he's at. So it's just the Dame show.
So let's move over to other big news. Now
I think this is really big news.
this series seems like it's going 7. Hunter, we're getting down to skeleton crews. It seems like Celtics
We
versus
said
76ers.
whether it was corona or injuries, depth was going to be the key.
And Zach just got up right when I was about to ask my question. So
Well, you can ask me the question.
I don't know if I should though. I want him to respond to it. So I'll do this. So Gordon Hayward is hurt. He's out 4 weeks.
I think that's actually really big.
Their starting lineup now is going to be whoever Theus is at center. He had 9 points. Enes Kanter played 8 minutes, had 0 points. Here's their bench, Hunter. G. Williams. You know who that is? R. Williams.
Is that Gary Williams?
R. Williams the third. Didn't he play wide receiver for the Cowboys?
Sure they aren't talking about RG3.
Wanamaker.
Mm-hmm. Marcus Smart's probably
I thought
on there.
Wanamaker was a Goff award. It's the Wanamaker Cup.
I thought that was a dog.
Let's see. I'll get to it. Let's see. So Williams. Do you know who G. Williams is for the Celtics?
No.
You know who R. Williams the third is? You know who Brent Wanamaker is? I just named you 3 of the people off the
let me
bench.
get on the roster.
Yeah, I just named you 3 people off their bench.
That's
Marcus
horrible.
Smart, Hunter, last night, in 32 minutes, or 2 nights ago, got 2 points. In 32 minutes, he had 2 points. Now Hayward only had 12, but that's 10 more than Smart. So my question is, Zach, with no Ben Simmons now in Philly, no Gordon Hayward in Boston, it's now Walker, Brown, and Tatum, and a bunch of people that ain't no good, the small guys versus the big guys. Tobias Harris, Embiid, and Al Horford. Will this series go 7? But my main question is, Hunter, I never missed a chance to do this. Does this mean Kemba still is not going to win a playoff series?
No.
Huh?
No, I think the Celtics
Huh?
still win this playoff series.
Now, you did a lot of math earlier. I let you keep going and going and going. Yeah, I set you up for this one.
It was good math.
I knew it
though.
was, and I set you up for this one, though. Kemba Walker,
It's the better point guard.
Tatum, and Jaylen Brown last night. They combined for 79 points. Now, said you top 3 need 75. They did their job.
Everybody else, though.
You want to talk about everybody else? Hayward's 12. He got 12. He's out for the season, or 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Theus got 9. There's
Might
your
be the
starters.
season.
There's your starters. 21 points from your other starters. So that gives you exactly 100. Let me read your bench, or 101 actually. Let me read your bench. Zach Williams, 2 minutes, 0 points. Cantor, 8 Williams, 0 points. Williams, 13 minutes, 2 points. Wanamaker, 10 minutes, 4 points. Marcus Smart, 32 minutes, 2 points. So Smart's already playing 32 minutes. So he's going to stay those minutes at 32, 34.
He's got to
Hayward-
make up for Hayward.
Right. Hayward played 34. That means those minutes have to go to other people. Who in the hell are they giving 34 extra minutes? This ain't like 12 minutes or 10 minutes or even 20. This is 34 minutes of Gordon Hayward on the court. So that means G. Williams, R. Williams, Wanamaker, the 3 that added up last night, and with though Cantor in there too, 4 of them added together had 6 points. And they're supposed to replace minutes and scoring from Gordon Hayward. So that was why my question was, can the Celtics 3 guards basically outscore the Sixers 3 big men? And then after that, it's bench. So once you get past Embiid, Harris, and Horford, it's Josh Richardson, Milton, Scott, Alex Burks, Thibault. There's a bunch of people we've never heard of.
I will say this. If I know we have to take away the points from Gordon Hayward, but if you just go the big 3, we're talking big men from the 76ers against the small 3, the guards that are really scoring from the Celtics, the Celtics still win that battle. You had Tatum with 32, Jaylen Brown with 29.
He's always
Kemba Walker with 19, and then we look over here. Al Horford is the one that's really holding this down. He had 6.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris had 15, and Joel Embiid had 26.
I think Horford's getting long in the tooth now, and it's starting to show. Jaylen Brown always plays way better in the playoffs. So
I like Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown somewhere else is a star. Same way I think Jason Tatum somewhere else is a star. Not to say that they're both not already stars with the Celtics, but one kind of overshadows the other every other night. And Kemba Walker is still on that team. He's a star. A lot of people consider him maybe a top 3 point guard in the East at least. Maybe even a top 2 point guard, depending on whether or not Kyrie Irving plays. So it's I think the loss of Gordon Hayward is going to hurt them because the Celtics are not so big. And he was kind of some size that they had at the small forward position. But scoring-wise, if you just, like, if it was to just shift and they scored the same amount of points, the top 3 for the Celtics and the top 4 from the 76ers in the next game, the Celtics still have the edge. Because Al Horford just laid an egg. He said, you know what? I'm just going to score my measly 6 and mosey my way back over to the bench. He just, I don't know why people have such this love for Al Horford. Because even when he was in Atlanta, he was decent. That was Jeff Teague's team. Or Joe Johnson's team. Not Al Horford. And now you're talking about a team that's already 3-point deficient in the 76ers. And now they're just trying to score all in the paint? Nah, to me, I still think the more balanced team is definitely Boston. They're the more balanced team. I think they're the more talented team. And outside of the guys that we're sitting there looking like, oh, I don't know who this guy is, I don't know who this guy is, I don't know who this guy is, at least I know who Enes Kanter and Marcus Smart is. I'm looking at the bench. The only person I know is Alec Burks for 76ers. So I think the Celtics are deeper. I don't think they're in trouble, but I will say this, that 4 weeks without Gordon Hayward's going to hurt whoever they draw in round 2. And I had the Celtics going to the finals because they were so deep. Now, I feel like that's something that's plagued Gordon Hayward, though, over the years. Just a random injury.
It's Toronto in round 2.
Yeah, I don't think they could get through Toronto without Gordon. I don't think they could. And I'm not saying that he is like an X factor for people or anything. I'm just saying, like, he'll make a difference. He'll make a pretty big difference. So with him not playing, I think they play tonight too, don't they? Yeah, the game's tonight. For those of you guys that are wondering, Brooklyn, as a matter of fact, is up right now. 5 minutes to go in the third. They're up by 5, 70-65. Keep your eye on that one because it wouldn't surprise me. Brooklyn has been one of those teams, kind of like how the Suns were in the bubble. No one would have expected them to win, but they're playing hard. So if they sneak one from out underneath Toronto, wouldn't surprise me. But I still think Toronto would win that series. 4 o'clock, Utah and Denver. Denver leads the series 1-0. Philadelphia and Boston is the 6:30 game. 1-0. Boston leads. And 9 o'clock, it's not surprising, it's the Los Angeles team, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Dallas team. Now, me and Kevin had a very good conversation Monday about how they did some of this scheduling. The 1 o'clock in the early games, it seems you would rather show the primetime games, the ones with the big names, later. Those are your primetime segments, right? Mm-hmm. That would be something that you'd want to do. And in this case, it's kind of the truth. Boston and Philadelphia are the 6:30 game. Boston is obviously a bigger draw than Utah and Denver. And the Clippers and Dallas, that's just star power all across the board. They're the 9 o'clock game. So Brooklyn and Toronto being the 1 o'clock game, is that kind of throwing shade at the Toronto fans? Is that still not giving Toronto the respect that they deserve, being last year's champion?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it is 100%. And another thing, this is what we talked about Monday, it's the fact that Utah and Denver are playing on TNT. Philadelphia, Boston are playing on TNT. Dallas and the Clippers are playing on TNT. Why is Toronto and Brooklyn playing on NBA TV?
It might maybe not be a throwback at Toronto. It might be a throwback on Brooklyn. Because they're so horrible.
Well, they're winning right now, so
They
it's
are.
kind of. But I know what you're saying. They're not as interesting. They'd be
Because
more.
they don't have their,
Yeah, they'd be more interesting if it was Kevin Durant
they
and
would
Kyrie
be on
Irving.
every
They'd be on
channel.
every channel. But really, you had to put them on a completely different channel than the other 3 games that you're going to have that will be played one after another after another. I feel like that's just blatant disrespectful. But not only just disrespectful to the teams, what about the fan bases that want to watch that? If you have basic cable, you don't have NBA TV.
Yeah.
You can't watch that game. You know,
It
if you
goes
if
back,
you just get satellite,
a little bit
you
to
definitely
the,
can't watch that game.
It goes a little bit back to the ACC network.
Oh, don't get me started. ACC Network, Big Ten Network,
Yeah.
the Longhorn Network, just for the University of Texas.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy. ESPN Plus, just to watch certain things, you got to have their subscription
If they're
base.
going to do that, it should be they're only getting the advertising off of it, not charging people to watch it.
Mm-hmm. I would think so,
It's
but there's too
ridiculous.
much. But there's too much
Ridiculous.
money in it now. That's they're learning based off of what the other streaming sites are making for their subscription base, like Netflix, Hulu, and all of that. That's what they're basing it off of, and what their metrics are going to come from. But to me, it's like this is a live sport. Well, I don't quite understand why there has to be a paywall for me to watch a live sport,
Right.
especially a playoff game. This is what we've all been wanting. This is what we've all been waiting for. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But that is also happening right now. Still up is Brooklyn with 3:28 in the third, 71-68 over Toronto. Zach, let's me and you move on
Yeah.
to something that you're wearing on your hat.
Yeah. I was thinking about the Braves a minute ago.
Let's move on to just baseball in general.
Yeah.
But because it is me and you sitting here right now, let's definitely talk about the Braves. And let's talk about how it's finally happening.
Mm-hmm.
They're struggling without Soroka.
Knew it was going to come. Last time I was looking at the standings, they were 13-10. We kind of went on good.
No, they suck.
No, I'm talking about the kids.
Yeah, they suck.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know how many times I got to walk a room and be like,
what are you doing?
how can I hear y'all with my headphones on talking to other people?
Right.
I should not be able to hear you down the hall. And like there's no reason, and I keep having to go down there. So now, Zach, Austin's reading his room, Judah's watching TV, and Isabel's in here on the computer. They're in separate rooms.
They've been completely separated.
I'm tired of walking down
Now-
the hall because they can't be quiet.
Now, in retrospect, if we back this up 35 years ago, it's me, Kevin, and Carrie in the radio station, and Kevin's cutting Carrie's hair.
Yeah. And we had other things to do besides me
So I
and Andre was
can't
talking
throw
about-
stones.
Could you guys have? I guess you're allowed to have phones in class
Excuse me?
or laptops or any of that.
Big old hell to the no. Well, last time I checked, even when I graduated
Oh.
high school in 2014, it was still
Yeah.
frowned upon to pull your phone out in class.
I was just wondering because it's just weird all this stuff that.
Oh,
you know,
well, it's obviously okay now because it's a learning tool that
Right.
kids use now. We didn't have laptops that we couldn't bring our. You probably could, but when it came down to using it in class, it was kind of a no-no.
right. Well,
You would
even
have
in
to.
college,
We would have these carts that had laptops in it that we would have to use the school's laptops if we wanted to use them, or go to the computer lab.
even in college and any other thing. I never saw a single person pull out a laptop.
Oh,
or
well,
any-
now you can't go
or phone.
2 feet without someone having a laptop
Now,
out
in
at a
computer
college
lab,
campus.
you're using their computers, but I've never seen.
That's why there's Wi-Fi at every place you'll eat at on college campus. There, like any Starbucks or library, all of it's because the laptop comes with them. Type, type, type.
They
Sip, type, type, type.
just come out and just said that with Judah can bring drink, whatever else he wants with him to school, and I'm going. Wow.
What?
Really? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They said he can have a drink with him all day long.
God, they used to scream at us if we walked in with a water bottle.
That's what they told us to bring him: water bottle and a sports bottle thing that you would carry around with you. So
Times
Y'all said
have
y'all were going to
changed.
baseball, right? Is that what I heard?
yeah, we was talking about
Yeah,
the
we're
Braves
talking
and how
about-
it's catching up with them. That
No Soroka.
Last time I checked the standings, we were 13-10.
God, the Raptors are still getting beat.
Yeah, they're getting beat right
Yeah,
now. So we just
it looks
talked.
like they're going down. I hope they
Maybe
don't.
not. It's still a whole quarter, but it's not looking too promising. What I just don't understand.
Couple of quick things, real quick,
yeah.
Hunter, on the last few things. I'd pull some notes up here on some of this. On Kevin Love career in Minnesota, he played 6 seasons in Minnesota, averaged 19 and 12. In 6 seasons in Cleveland, averaged 17 and 10. So there's some Kevin Love info. Let's see what else I had. I think I had one more other thing on the basketball.
Probably Bobo had a DNP.
That just makes me so mad. So stupid. Can the guy on the bench? How tall is he? 7'3". Can he block shots? Yes. Can he dribble? Yes. Can he
shoot threes?
pass? Yes. Can he shoot threes? Yes. Well, what can he do?
He's
don't know,
not
he
better
can't-
than Mason Plumlee.
He can't eat a Whopper. Like he's not big enough to get a whole Whopper down. Like, what's his negative, Hunter? Like, what do we look at and be like, no, we don't want to play this dude?
Yeah.
Like, shit. Again, I thought they're deep enough and good enough. If they get Gary Harris back, they're good enough to win and play even without him. But to me, I was telling Hunter, I was like, he's the Robert Horry of these teams, where somebody somewhere in almost every situation comes up and does something big, or you just don't know. Like the Kobe and Shaq thing. And how many times did he need Robert Horry or Derek Fisher to bail him out with shots? Shaq even mentioned that the other night. He thanked Big Shot Rob. And then, of course, Barkley told him, he said, D. Wade and Kobe carries your fat ass. So those are some fun shots listening to them. The Shaq thing, to me, Zach, real quick, before we get to baseball, is the kind of thing with LeBron where the kids today look at him and say, well, he's bigger, stronger, he's better. And no, like, Robinson schooled him for 10 years. And then Elijah schooled him for 10 years.
Swept him.
Not until he got, now him and Penny beat Jordan and the Bulls that one year, but then what happened the next year? Got swept.
Jordan just came back.
He got swept.
Yeah.
So he didn't start winning until what? He got Kobe and D. Wade after Michael had retired, started his career. So he had a 5, 6, 7-year window to win championships, and guess what? He did.
Yeah.
Robinson retired, Elijah retired, Jordan McGlone, all of those from the 90s retired, and the only person left was Shaq. And he had Kobe on his team.
That Orlando team that got swept by Houston was the best prime team. The way they were built to win, and they just laid an egg, and they laid an egg.
Yeah, got smoked by Elijah
I mean, they had the shooter and Anderson.
Yep.
So anyway.
All right, baseball.
Another day.
You talk about standings there. Braves 14-11 now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
they
teams,
got no pitching.
9 teams in the National. Are y'all going to make playoffs?
Probably not.
I mean, you've got it says 1-game lead, but Marlins are 5 wins behind you.
This is the only reason why I say probably not. Because we could not finish off the Nationals. And the Nationals have not looked good all year. We struggled with the Phillies when we played the Phillies. We won the recent bout against Miami. But can we do it again? I don't know. And the reason why is because I think I brought the statistic up Monday. And I don't know if Zach has seen this statistic. Before the Braves, if the pitcher is not named Soroka or Freed, they have an 8.3 ERA.
Is that this year?
Well,
This year!
This year.
they have a playoff percentage of making the playoffs of 83. So I'm going to say we're going to make the playoffs.
Listen, if we do, it's not what we should have been at. With Soroka, I think we're a top 3 seed.
Zach, look
now we're fighting for a wild card
Is that what
spot.
that P off
Yeah.
is? All right.
P off? That's what it says. That's what it means.
Percentage of making playoffs is
All right.
what it is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Look at that. Okay. Now look at the 2 teams below Atlanta. Miami's 9-8 with a 15%. The Phillies are 9-9, one more loss, and they got a 66%. What math am I looking at? Are they going into the matchups that deep to pull that out?
but you would be playing
there's
each
the same-
other.
Yeah, there's the same record.
You'd be playing
And
each
one is-
other most of the
Like-
time.
like-
66%.
I just want to read you off the scores with our recent losses. So we just lost the Nationals.
Nope. Here's what I think it is. Let's wait right there. Never mind. Take it. They ain't
I was just gonna
they ain't play
say.
as many games, but they still the runs scored and runs against.
I
are
was just gonna say, going off of my little theory, because it was a tweet, and I usually kind of trust stuff on Twitter sometimes, at least when they come from credible sports analysts. But so in our recent loss to the Nationals, we gave up 8 runs. Even when we beat the Nationals the 2 nights before, we gave up 6 runs to them, and 1 because of a Dansby Swanson homer to walk off. We beat the Marlins 4-0. Okay, we beat the Marlins 2-1. We lost the Marlins 8-2. We lost the Yankees 6-3. We lost to the Yankees 9-6, and then we lost to the Phillies 13-8. There seems to be a trend here. We let up a whole bunch of runs. We let up a lot of them, and apparently Atlanta, possibly today, is calling up their highest graded prospect to play. Kevin, do you know what position he plays?
Nah.
Outfield.
That's gonna be
That's really going to be helpful for our pitching woes. Jeez, man. Speaking of, Kevin, Cardinals are up right now 5-1 on Chicago. On the Cubs.
I'm trying to get your internet up.
Mine?
So I could show people what you were looking at, but it doesn't.
It doesn't want to work. It doesn't like it.
It's too.
Yeah, I'm just, people are going to say, well, what were you looking at? I'm basically looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe the last 8 games for the Philadelphia Phillies. That's exactly what I was looking at. Or not the Philadelphia Phillies. Last 8 games for the Atlanta Braves. And so out of those 8, we won 3.
I was going to say 4-4 is what I was
No,
thinking.
we 3-5.
Every time I keep
Lost to
keeping
the
up
Phillies,
with them, they're
lost to the Yankees,
500.
lost to the Yankees, lost to the Marlins. Then we go on a 3-game win streak. Marlins, Nationals, and then we get beat by the Nationals. So we were 3-5 out of our last 8. If you want to look at it, Braves fans, out of the last 10, we're 5-5. So we are 500. But I think me and Kevin talked about that like a day or so after Soroka had gotten hurt. For us to still just to be able to make the playoffs, all we would have to do is go 500. Just win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So far, in the last 10, we're 500. But I would kind of like for us to, pull away a little bit in our division because Miami gave us trouble. It looks like the Nationals are going to give us trouble, and they're going to be chomping at the bit to just take over for the Braves because we ain't got no pitching. So for a year that started off with a lot of promise, it immediately seems to have gone down the drain with the snap of an Achilles with Soroka. And I just don't understand how a team can only have 2 viable starting pitchers. I don't get that. I'm pretty sure, you go through 5 pitchers before the first guy comes back to pitch?
Usually you got 2 studs,
You couldn't have at least 3?
2 solid guys, and a questionable guy.
The rest of them is just all questionable. If their average ERA is like 8.3 and then the other 2 was like 2,
Yeah.
it's a substantial gap.
So Willie McGee, speaking of ugly, Zach, decided to opt out the rest of the season for Corona, and they replaced him with Jose Akendo, who used to be their coach, and so they brought him back. So brought Akendo back. They're up right now 5 or 6-1 on the Cubs.
That's 5-1 in the bottom of the 3rd.
They're one game under 500 right now. If they win this game, that'll put them at 500 in the 2nd spot in the division.
Have they come out and said how you're going to make up those games?
Yeah, they're playing
Just doubleheaders as like constantly?
Yeah, they got 7 doubleheaders in the next 2 weeks. I think is what it is.
Jeez.
I saw the exact tweet number. It is 7 doubleheaders, and they said they're going to play so many games, and it's like 50 games in 35 days or something like that.
Be very interesting.
But the Cardinals are going to put it this way: the last 2 weeks, Hunter, I didn't get to see any Cardinals highlights. The next two or three
That's
weeks,
all you're gonna see.
It better be nothing but my timeline.
That's all you're going to see.
Yep.
They're just going to be playing, game 1's done, but don't worry, game 2 is getting ready to start.
They're going to play in just a little bit, no matter what. What time is it? It's got to be Cardinals baseball
It's
time.
Cardinals time. What if they came out and were like, all right, we're going to play 5-inning triple header. We just got to get this in, gentlemen. A 5-inning triple header.
Honestly, to me, there's no reason they're not just playing 9 innings in the doubles.
That's probably a time thing.
Where do they got to go? What do they got to do? Shit, start at noon. Let's play ball. You got 12 hours to get
I
two
was
games
about to
in.
say I was
Start at noon. You got 12 hours.
I start at like 10 and be like, just go.
I was talking to a guy. He's an older guy at church. He's actually friends with James Mason.
Yeah.
And we was talking about he loves baseball too, and we was talking about. I just made the comment that me and you were afraid that somebody was going to beat that 400 barrier on batting average this year.
Yeah.
And we was talking about how horrible the hitters are today. Because what started the conversation? I wore my Tony Gwynn shirt in. He was like, "Oh, I like that." He said, and somebody asked me. I think it was one of the younger kids said, "Who's Gwynn?" I said, "Like one of the best hitters to ever play the game." So we got to have it. I said, "The hitters now," I said, "they either strike out or home run." And,
Oh my God!
So how about
You can chalk this up tonight as a loss for the Braves, boys. Kyle Wright is on the mound. He's got a 7.2 ERA. He's 0-3.
that's all you need is 9?
God almighty, man. 7.2. No, I was just looking at that, though, because that Christian Potch guy, he is, in fact, going to be playing tonight.
Zach, you're talking
Called
about
up.
home run or bust.
Yeah.
Trout's second in Major League Baseball in home runs. He has 1 double.
Wonder what he is in strikeouts.
Oh, I know. He's got 1 double. If his strikeout percent, he's batting .299,
which is good.
If his strikeout percentage was a batting average, it would be .286.
Yeah. So if he don't get a hit,
So
he's striking out.
He is 100% just as likely to get a hit, any hit,
Yeah.
as he is to strike out.
Which is 50-50. That's
He's got a
bad.
50.
He's not putting it in play. You know, he's getting hit or he's not putting it in play.
He gets 4 at bats. He'll get 1 hit, 1 strikeout, a 1 walk, and then a fly out or a ground ball somewhere.
That's awesome.
He is consistent.
And ESPN puts him up there with Ken Griffey Jr. on their little thing the other day, and I have a nuclear breakdown.
It's just to me, talking Griffey is we're talking on another level of players. And until someone gets there, it's just.
I made the argument on there because they were, all these, and it was some of the people that were my age. It was posting it. One of them I used to work with, and I'm like, can he field like Griffey?
No.
Does he have a Hall of Fame? Does he have 10 Gold Gloves?
Does he have 1?
No. Does he? So I was having. I mean, I had turned.
He don't have one. Trout don't have 1 Gold Glove, 140 double season. Griffey had 7 straight 40 home run seasons.
I'm done with it.
Hunter, 7 straight 40 home run seasons. Now do the math on that. What's 7 times 40? 280.
280.
Trout's got like 287 home runs in his career in his 9.5 years. So Griffey in 7 straight years did that basically with home runs. It's just a weird thing. Like 286, Zach. That's your strikeout average, not your getting out. Striking out 286. That's amazing. I'm just trying to think. In high school, I had 4 strikeouts. I think my senior year in 30 games. I was 4 at bats, 120. Say I walked. Says 100. I might be struck out 2% of the time. 5 out of 100. That's what.
Because
5%.
they don't. There's 2 things. Whether you're talking basketball or you're talking baseball. Basketball does not focus on free throws, and baseball, when they teach it now, they don't focus on making contact.
That's wild to me. Like just the fact of not everybody's even has the power to hit it out. So you would rather me. I'm just thinking about going back and playing as in high school or something, and just thinking about a coach trying to tell me to hit the ball out of the park, or strike out.
I don't even remember that.
Like they didn't even tell the Johnsons.
Look, son, you got one. Look, son, you got
park.
1 of 2 options: either swing for the fence, or you might as well take your happy ass back. Take your happy ass back to the dugout.
The furthest ball I ever hit, Hunter, dead center, and I didn't try to hit it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to make contact because the pitcher threw 92. So I was just trying to get my bat out there and let it go. And honestly, like I said, I'm a doubles hitter. I never really swung. I almost swung. Put it this way, at like a golf club. So, the big bombers get up there and they hit as far as they can. They don't care how far left or right it goes. I'm going to try to hit it down the middle. Me. So to me, like I said, when I didn't strike out, contact was the biggest thing for me. Was that I'm going to put the ball in play. I'm going to make something happen, something move.
That's me in golf. I just swing.
Right. And for a coach to say, try to hit it out, that would just be such a weird. Like you can't do it. You can't try to hit it out. That's what's weird about the WAR and it doesn't take in situational hitting or how many times you get out on you don't get out on purpose. But Zach, how many times have you hit a ball, or just smoked it, and it goes right at somebody?
Oh yeah,
and you're out.
And you're like, wow.
You know Rusty Haynes.
Mm-hmm.
His brother Trent was my age, and Hunter. We've got the books on it. He lined out in 16-year-old All-Stars, 11 straight at bat, 11 straight line drives caught by somebody in the infield.
Especially when it's one of them hot ones.
Oh, and you could just imagine how mad he was. Like, he's just stroking it.
Yep, because he's hitting and his average is just going into poo-poo.
Nothing. Yeah, he was 0 for 11, and he hit the ball harder than everybody, and he's 0 for 11. I would never forget that summer of him doing that, just stroking them balls. So another example, Hunter, in the Easter tournament, we're playing the Royals. He was drafted by the Royals, South Point, Devin Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
He threw about 92, 93. He didn't have nothing but he had a changeup, a fastball, and a cutter. And that was pretty much it. His curveball, he had weird motion. But anyway, so his basic thing was he was pounding the outside corner as hard as he could.
Mm-hmm.
First at bat, Zach, I lay on it and hit a rocket right at the right fielder. He took like one step to his left, line drive, caught it.
Mm-hmm.
Next at bat, I hit one off the handle, and it goes to the wall and is caught up against the wall. Almost hit it out on him. Third at bat, I pop one up down the right field line. Son of a bitch falls. The worst ball I hit all day. Got a base hit. Base hit, worst ball I hit all day. And in the paper, you know what it said? Hastings hit a frozen rope in the 6th inning for an RBI single. It was a pop-up down the line with 2 outs, and they were running anyway. But that's what the paper said. So you can imagine what they say about Trout and other people. But I'm just saying, like, in baseball, how many times you just swing, and you're hoping to make contact?
Well, at that level,
there's no
yes.
like, I'm going right, I'm going left.
At that level, when you're throwing 95 and you blink and it's already past you, it's like, yeah, man, I kind of just have to pray to God that I make contact with it.
Yeah, and then you talk about Tony Gwynn there, Zach. I just saw he had, before you came in, I actually saw a meme on him, and I'm trying to remember. I think he batted .302 with 2 strikes. And he only struck out 3 times in a game, maybe once in his career or something like in his whole career. It was something crazy like that.
I've got the meme.
He had 300, so many seasons of 300 in a row. Oh, that's just crazy. So as far as baseball goes, Hunter, you've got Braves, Marlins above 500, Phillies at 500, Cubs at 15-7. Dodgers have pulled away after a slow start.
Which is surprising to me because the Padres have been on a tear. The Padres have been playing just as good.
All right, let's talk about that real quick. That'd be something interesting to get into, to kind of wrapping up near the end of the show here.
You talking about Tati?
Is Tatis's
Yo, he's awesome.
Fernando Tatis Jr.'s antics or acts.
He's back at it again, that devil.
He's breaking the unwritten rules of baseball.
It's a joke.
And I played a lot of baseball in my life. I've broadcast a lot of baseball. I've umpired baseball, watched a lot. Again, out of the conversation we just had, Zach, about swinging and you're just making contact and the ball goes where it wants to go. Did you see the controversy with this kid?
Yep.
They're mad at him because he swung at a 3-0 pitch.
Okay, don't put it down the pipe then.
First of all, pitcher, don't throw 3 balls and no strikes. Ain't that
how's that his fault?
Ain't that the point of hitting?
He got in trouble yesterday for stealing a base.
So then
Small ball.
He gives an FU to him by stealing third up 4 or 6 runs, something like that. But either way, you're in the middle of a baseball game. Why is it baseball the only sport that would get mad about people doing stuff like so? That's like getting mad at LeBron for getting a breakaway and dunking it or doing a 360 instead of doing a layup.
That's like getting mad at Alabama playing a cupcake and they hang 60 on them. Well, what the hell do you expect them to do?
These are professional.
The game's not over.
These are professional
It's not
players.
over.
If you can't throw somebody out stealing third, like,
he smoked them.
Think about what the Rangers are doing, Hunter. They are mad because their feelings were hurt.
I don't know why they're mad because
who cares?
You're getting paid millions of dollars.
Did you see? I'm actually on Trevor Bauer's side. You know, he's a pitcher, and he tweeted at Tati and said, "You did nothing wrong." You swung at a 3-0 pitch, and he basically was saying, guess what? The pitcher should have just pitched you all the way outside if he didn't want you swinging at something that was down the middle.
If you didn't want to give up 4 runs, walk him for 1.
Yeah. I mean, the pitcher should have never put himself in that situation.
Right,
the pitcher was already
right.
behind in the count, and he had the bases loaded regardless. So what did you think the pitcher was going to do? Obviously, he didn't want to walk him and just walk in a run, so he's going to have to throw him a strike.
Now,
It just so happened that Tati sent it to the moon.
now Barry Bonds was walked before with bases loaded.
Because they knew he would put it out there in
Barry
deep
Bonds
center if they weren't
intentionally
careful.
walked with bases loaded.
That's so I don't like the whole thing about baseball with these unwritten rules. You just make this shit up as you go along. Like one day you're upset and you're like, technically back in the 50s, they never did that. That was established then and there. You do not swing on a 3-0 and send it to the moon. Well, don't put it down the pipe.
Well, that's the thing. Like
Don't tempt me.
in high school and Legion, they've got 10-run rules.
They don't do that in baseball.
So,
Or in pros,
What
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying is that these high school and Legion fans will get mad about a player will steal or try to score when it's 9-0.
It's like, dude, we're trying to just get out of here.
Right.
It's 10-0.
If do y'all want to see? Y'all want to lose for 2 more innings?
I was about to say, y'all
Or
want
do
to
you wanna
sit
lose now?
You want to sit here and see if we can make it
I
15
was
to
about to
nothing?
say, if you wait another inning, it's going to be.
I will admit, I have called a baseball game one time, and we went into the in between innings, and I can't remember who I was calling the game with, but it was for us. But I did look at him and say, I pray to God they score 3 runs right here and it's over.
Yeah.
Because it's ugly.
It's brutal.
At that point, it was like 7-0. We're in the 3rd inning. I'm like, okay, this other team didn't even get off the bus.
Hitting the home run, like they aren't even celebrating. They're not even getting mad about them celebrating. They're getting mad
That he hit a home
about
run.
actually doing baseball things.
He did his job.
He didn't Randy Moss moon them.
No.
He didn't bring out the Sharpie.
He didn't go
He
to
didn't
center
bat
field
flip.
and stick a flag in it. No.
Zach, do you think they would have hated Ozzy today for backflipping?
Oh yeah.
Or would they have liked him?
No, he would.
The media would eat it up, but
Yeah.
players would hate him.
I was doing a little statistics. Sorry.
That's you're good.
Strikeouts. We're talking about strikeouts, right? Mike Trout, 10 years in the league, 1,140 strikeouts. The first year he was in the league, he only had 135 plate appearances, right?
Right.
Griffey, 10 years in the league, 876 strikeouts. So he's 200 less, and in his first year, he had 500 plate appearances, not 100. So 200 less strikeouts in the same time frame, with a lot more plate appearances for Griffey.
How many total strikeouts do you say?
1176. Let's see. No, 1140 in a 10-year career. Griffey in his first 10 years had 876.
Scroll down. Are you on Major League Baseball Reference? Scroll down to Trout's strikeouts per 162 games.
Where do you find that at?
If you'll
'Cause I'm
find the
not sure.
strikeout column,
I did, yeah.
and go all the way to the bottom, right below the totals, it says 162
152.
game. So that's what I was on.
152. I didn't know what that was.
All right, you ready for this one? Albert Pujols, Zach. In 20 years, in 1,200 at-bats, or plate appearances, 10,000 at-bats, 12,000 at-bats, plate appearance, 10,000 at-bats, he has struck out a grand total of 1,290 times.
That's really good.
That's exactly 150 more than Trout has right now. Let's extrapolate the rest of the season.
Double,
Because
9 more years,
They're
right?
They're going to play 60 games. So basically, by the end of next year, in Trout's 11th season, he will pass Pujols in strikeouts in 21 seasons. Like Trout would have to
He's
not
not
strike
in on this thing.
Trout would not have to strike out for 10 years to be the same as Albert Pujols in swinging and missing. That's just ridiculous how good Pujols is. Look at this, Hunter. Not a single 100-year strikeout, 100 strikeout year in 20 years of baseball. That's incredible. That's Tony Gwynn level. I don't even got Tony Gwynn's. I know he's never struck out damn 100 times. I would imagine more than anything. A couple other things I had on some baseball and stuff before we get out of here. Not that. We talked Notre Dame, blah, blah. Oh, Cam Newton. Did y'all see that?
Oh, he's dancing.
Raptors take a 6-point lead right now to give you guys an update.
There we go.
Cam has been
Dancing.
No, not that.
Oh, well, he has been dancing. He's dead. Did you see that video from him at Pat's camp dancing?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
They interviewed Belichick and asked him about him, and they said he would not be against a platoon at quarterback if that's what makes our team best win. So he said he's willing to do anything that gives our team a chance to win. It's kind of some eye-opening. That's some eye-opening statement there, Hunter.
Listen,
isn't he willing? Isn't he willing to do anything to win? He just stated it out loud.
Yeah,
I'm willing to do anything to win. That includes deflating balls, spying on the other team's practices, spying on the other team's camps.
But I will say this: I don't think Belichick would, and especially, I don't think offensive coordinator. God, what's his name? Why is his name escaping me? Yeah, I don't think McDaniels would really like calling for a platoon quarterback.
Nah.
I think that he'd much rather them just decide to go with one and just ride it out. It'd be easier that way on himself, because then he can just have the offense tailored to what it has to do for Cam, ride it out. If Cam doesn't work out, we'll go to the drawing board during the next week of practice and have the next guy ready.
As far as football reasons, I honestly don't mind a platoon at that position for certain reasons. The biggest problem with it is
they're all different play styles.
Well, not that. It's quarterbacks, Hunter.
Oh, they're divas.
Yeah.
They're divas.
You got to think about it this way. If every time all the other positions are graded almost every play, everything.
Mm-hmm.
At quarterback, a lot of times that position is solidified and it's your job. And when your job is threatened, like you look over your shoulder. So like think about, Hunter, if we're on a platoon and I throw a pick, does that mean I'm even going to get back on the platoon on the next round?
Yes, good
so
question.
It's a real mental problem for the quarterbacks to have, because that's something that they never do almost on every level, except maybe in high school where they'll rotate some guys.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
and the only
they don't
time,
take guys out because you don't want to lose rhythm. If
right,
you're
and the only time they ever take a guy out is if they're running a special package.
How good would Baltimore be if they just had two groupings behind Lamar that just ran the ball, just pounded it out like that? They rotated them in, and like with RG3 or Tebow and to that nature.
Well, they have the quote unquote the Heisman package,
right,
where it's Lamar Jackson, RG3, and Mark Ingram, because they've all won Heismans before, but they all go in there, and it's almost like a triple option threat, because you don't really know what they're going to do with it. They're going to give it to Mark Ingram, and what you don't know about it either is Lamar keeping it? Is Lamar giving it to RG3? If he gives it to RG3, is RG3 going to throw it forward because he's a quarterback and he's got an arm? So that can be pretty dangerous. And they just drafted a running back, if I'm not mistaken, in the second round, J.K. Dobbins. So I think they're going to be going towards a really run-heavy offense in Baltimore. But yeah, I know what you mean by the diva stuff, because who are we talking about right now? I mean, we're talking about Cam Newton.
Well, that. Yeah.
Like I don't.
I wasn't even referring to Cam in general. I was referring to quarterbacks.
I know, but it's just one of those things where it's like truthfully, I don't think it would be a smart idea to do that.
It's a weird thing, like Hunter, like say at quarterback, like when you're playing, you always wonder, or a lot of times you're wondering if your teammates have your back, believe in you. Are they wanting to replace you?
I was gonna say, or are they looking for your downfall?
Like if they run Stidham out there, how many players on that team are going to be like, why is Cam not out here?
Yep.
And then if Cam's out there acting like a fool and they're losing, the younger guys are gonna be like,
why
is Stidham not out here when they drafted him? Are they gonna get rid of me for somebody random? Like there's just it's a tough situation to handle. I don't think Cam's the right quarterback to do a platoon with at all.
No, no, I don't think personality wise he'll take it very well. He might come out and say, if he gets rumor of it and someone asks him in a press conference, he'll probably just be professional about it, but behind closed doors, he's probably like, ain't no way in hell I'm letting this Stidham kid come out here.
I don't think it's this is my opinion. I think Cam is going to be the starter, and I think Hoyer and Stidham is going. They're putting all the reps in to see which one of them's going to be the backup.
Well, I mean, I know which one I would go with.
Hoyer.
I would go with Stidham.
Would you really?
And it's only because I know what I'm getting.
Because he's younger.
Ware. Yeah, that's exactly why.
I mean, Hoyer's.
I know what I'm getting with
He can come
Hoyer.
in and play. I mean, he can come in and play, but he's probably one of the top backups in the league.
That's what I'm saying though. Is like I know what I'm getting with him,
So
but
you're not developing your later.
I was going to say, but I drafted Stidham.
Yeah.
And I need to know. I need to know if he is gonna be kind of the guy because I'm probably gonna be in a prime position next year to draft one of these quarterbacks. So
yeah, so I was telling you.
That's just what I would do. Hoyer is there for developmental purposes for Stidham, and I think Stidham is the true number 2. And if he really is still trying to win at some point, Belichick this year, then he just goes Cam at 1. I think that's just the best thing for them.
It took Tony Gwynn 7 years to get a total of 152 strikeouts. Which is what Trout averages.
What was his 162 game average?
You really don't want to hear all this.
Is it ridiculous? Is it 30? 30?
29.
Oh, my gosh.
You nailed it.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Total strikeouts, 434. 434 strikeouts total in his career.
That is unbelievable. He played, what, 21 years?
20 years.
20.
It takes Trout
3
years on average to pass
I don't
Tony
care
Gwynn's
I don't care who you put up against that stat.
It's amazing.
Griffey had a great bat.
Yeah. He wasn't a hitter like that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
That's ridiculous. I got to pull that stat up with my buddy tonight.
434 total strikeouts in his career, average of 29 per 162
That's
games.
ridiculous.
If his batting average, you mean do his batting average as far as
323?
No, I'm talking about his strikeout average. If it was a batting average, it'd be like 0.5.
What was his career average? 320, 323?
I just had it up. 338.
Wow. That's sick.
338 career in 20 years, not 10 years, 20 years of batting, 338.
That's ridiculous.
So Trout's best average ever was 326.
It's very good.
Here's Tony Gwynn's. 351, 370, 336, 358, 394, 368, 353, 372, 338 in his last year.
This is ridiculous.
His last year in the majors, 324.
That's ridiculous.
Trout's best of his career is 326.
Now, when you
and
see
Tony
a picture
Gwynn's
of this guy,
last
he looks like he's
year,
eating potato chips on the couch.
yeah, he was fat. You know what he looks like, don't you? You've seen Tony.
I know we got it wrong. That was good.
He couldn't be any nicer. Zach, I want to finish up your thoughts on this. Did you see the race this weekend?
I did not.
All right, they raced it at the Daytona road course. Beautiful, nice little setup, I would say. They didn't have a single caution for a 2-car wreck in the whole race. Wow. Would you believe that? Would you have made that bet before the thing? So Kyle Busch was the only one that wrecked the whole race.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Harvick spun out and ended up in the middle of a turn, and they all went around him. And he had, in road course races, unless there's debris on the actual track, they don't call caution. So he could sit there backwards, and they just drove around him. If that was on a super speedway, they would throw the caution in a heartbeat as soon as you turn around backwards. But so it was an interesting race. It was just kind of weird with none of that. None of the. I expected way more bumping and grinding. Chase Elliott, as soon as he gets pulled out, they can't catch him. Dude knows exactly what he's doing driving.
Yeah.
It is pretty amazing on that.
He's got. I mean, his dad's Bill Elliott. So I mean.
All right, see if y'all can check out what you're looking at.
I do
here.
like that.
Do you know what I'm looking at?
That's Jimmy's car, but that's got the old STP paint scheme.
And what else?
Earnhardt.
Yep. This is his ride for Darlington. They're doing they do throwback weekend in Darlington. This 500. He is doing a 7-time champion mixed car with Earnhardt's side panels, the black side panels, the black bumper, the black side, and Richard Petty's blue, and that's actually an orange. Did you know that's orange? It's like it's Petty orange is what it's called. Petty blue and Petty orange, basically. And nice, sweet car. The only problem I have, can y'all know by looking at the car? It does. My hint is it doesn't incorporate Jimmy enough.
Oh, should have put the lows on the back, maybe.
No,
you
not
couldn't put the
The
lows.
fact
You
that the
couldn't do
number's
that.
not yellow.
There you go. Nailed it.
Yeah, I can see that.
His numbers, for the most part, were always
on the Lowe's
yellow.
car.
On all, and he had a few years of white when they went black and white, but for the most part, that yellow 48 is what you're looking for. If they would throw a yellow 48 on that, I think it would be sweet. What's sweet about it, Hunter? Look, the numbers are the Petty style numbers and the Earnhardt style. So they got two different types of numbers on the top and the bottom. So that with the fonts is what I was getting at. I saw this Zach online and I thought it was Bubba Wallace's car at first because I saw
A lot of people's gonna think it's Bubba's.
I saw the stripes in the 40 and I said, is Petty adding another car? And I started looking at it and then I read the tweet. It was from Jimmy talking about 7 times. And I'm like, oh, I got you now. It's a Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt crisscross of cars, which I think that's a pretty sweet, nice little job. He was interviewed on Dale Earnhardt Jr. podcast the other day. He's not going to return this year. He's going to drive some Indy next year, and a couple of other things. I'm just, I don't like. I hate it. Like we're sitting here, Zach, with one of the, they didn't have a chance to tell Earnhardt goodbye. Richard Petty went goodbye before it was the internet was around. So now you've got a 7-time champion, and the tracks are doing their best to honor him. But think about the fans. Think about all the fans that he has. My daughter loves racing, and she loves Jimmy Johnson. She loves him so much she'll pull against me on the video game at home. So whoever I pick, she's pulling for Jimmy, and my son likes them, and they. Granted, they've got to go to some races over the past few years to see him race, but still, I was going to splurge for the pit pass this year and take them down in there and let them get to see the cars. Hopefully, maybe even get a picture of Jimmy or somebody. They're really open to that when you get the pit pass and stuff. So, kind of hoping for that, and I think that's just sad that, like Dale said, without the fans and everything, it's just sad that he's not getting a great, farewell, in a sense that he could, and now I just. Going from city to city, there's just so many different things and opportunities I guess they could have done and they didn't get to. But he'll get to do some of it next year. So, all right, Hunter, did I miss anything?
I don't believe so. Just unfortunate that, NBA got to be stupid.
One more NASCAR thing. Besides the fact we got to go down the hall and spank kids the rest of the day.
Did you see Car of the Future?
No, I did not. Did they release it?
They've supposedly somebody saw it like driving around at Darlington or Daytona, like testing it out. So they brought it back out for work on it.
Have you seen the Goodyear controversy?
Yeah.
You have not? So I wonder where this is going with NASCAR. They've kind of backtracked today. Yesterday, there was a slide on one of their training programs that came through, Hunter. It said no tolerance policy on anyone wearing MAGA, Blue Lives, White Lives, or All Lives Matter stuff. But they encourage you to wear Black Lives Matter, and there was another one that you could say. LGBT stuff. So Goodyear came out. This was on a training session slide. So they're saying what you can't do, for one thing, and what you can
conservative
do.
side stuff.
So basically, and this is to the employees, what's acceptable and not acceptable. So today's been a big day for Goodyear. They've had some heat from NASCAR fans for a while. That when these tires blow out at Indy and other places, fans and the drivers hate it. So the president got into it today.
Yes, he did.
Said don't buy Goodyear tires. Blah 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 blah. But I'm interested to see where this goes as far as any connections with NASCAR. I
because
wasn't trying to get into it with political.
trouble with tires with them.
So is this a next year that they've been talking of going to the single hubcap wheel anyway? Is this a chance or reason to change to Firestone? And that's the big question. Goodyear opened up their plant this year, Zach, if it'll surprise you, in China. So that's where we are. We started talking like, this stuff, sports aren't supposed to be political, and it very well turns into it very quickly. NBA's went that way. The ratings are down across the board on the folks that are going political. I thought, with the whole national anthem thing, I think they can get away with more all the kneeling and all of what they're doing now without fans in the building, because you ain't gonna have somebody booing. Maybe they don't have this. They don't get the same reaction from the fans. A lot of weird stuff with this, and I just can't wait and can't wait for us to get back to, the virus exacerbated all this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with us not having games, and it's just, I think a lot of people are stressed. In sports, out of sports, teachers, kids, students, for the unknown. People don't like the unknown. Don't like not being able to plan. So anyway, just hoping and praying for a soon to be better time, Zach, and across the board for sports and everybody else. I guess we'll finish up with that. I don't think I have anybody really else or anything else, Hunter.
No, I don't have anything
Saturday, folks, real quick, Braves baseball on KTC as always. Racing on KTC as always. And then Saturday we'll have Saturday Sports Talk with Mitchum's Kitchen Breakfast, brought to you by Friendship, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, and Nissan. So, Zach, let's go spank some kids.
Yep.
And it's about
I'll let y'all do
it's about
do
nap
that.
time. We'll see you guys next week on KTC Shock Jock Sports podcast.